2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
And welcome on into the JR Sport Brief Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on not only a Wednesday, but really what is a holiday Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, as a lot of the college kids do say here. So thank you for joining us on what is an extra special day here on the show. I'm sure right now, if you're listening, it is 6 o'clock on the East Coast, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. You are probably sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Maybe you've cursed under your breath a few times. Maybe you flipped the bird to someone who tried to cut you off and no blinker. Been there, done that. You pound the steering wheel. I pounded the console today as I was driving into work. Been there, done that. Just remember, you'll get there when you get there. It's not worth it. Getting out of the car, starting a fight, it ain't worth it. The road rage, if you can control it, whatever happens, whatever idiots on the road, don't let them ruin your day. Don't let them ruin your holiday. That's my PSA for the day, because I know today is the day where everyone's on the road and patience is at an all-time low. So drive safe. Fingers crossed you don't get too many idiots on the road in front of you and next to you. And we all get to our destinations in one piece, safe and sound. While you're in traffic, maybe you're cruising right now, fingers crossed, roads are open. Either way, thank you for joining us here, making us a part of your evening. I want to start with this, because it is the time to be thankful. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Everyone's kind of feeling it in a grateful mood. Minnesota Vikings fans should be feeling extra thankful today, because they have the most underrated coach in all of the NFL. I think Kevin O'Connell is great. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good he is. I think he truly is one of the best head coaches in all of the league. And I think today's Daniel Jones decision to South Minnesota highlights that. Let's dive into why. Daniel Jones, right, is probably like a lot of you, me included, needs a makeover. right? This is a time where maybe you haven't seen family and friends in a while. You're seeing them today, seeing them tomorrow, seeing them this weekend. So maybe, in anticipation of that, maybe you lose a few pounds. Maybe you go to the gym the last few weeks. Maybe you update your wardrobe. Maybe you get a haircut. Maybe you trim up your beard. Maybe you shave the beard entirely. You get a makeover here to try to impress family and friends you haven't seen in a while here. So you try to take an effort here to clean yourself up over the last few weeks in anticipation of this weekend. Well, Daniel Jones kind of needs the same thing. Right? He's not seeing any family and friends. But what he needs to do is look his best for teams in free agency this upcoming offseason. He needs a makeover himself. He needs to learn how to be a good quarterback. He needs to learn how to fix his faults. He needs his stock to be improved to have any sort of chance of competing, let alone getting a starting job with the team next season. And so when you look at Daniel Jones's, I laugh because somebody used the word sweepstakes when talking about where Daniel Jones is going to sign. I wouldn't go that far. I think it's a stretch there. But let's just say that the Daniel Jones odyssey of who could sign him. He had a lot of suitors. Forget what you think about Daniel Jones. He's got talent, and right now he's at an affordable price. A lot of teams were interested. There was rumors of the 49ers being one of those teams as well. Daniel Jones had his pick of the litter in terms of where he wanted to go for the rest of this season, kind of sit, watch, and redo his image. And he chose and decided to say, you know what? I'm going to trust Minnesota. I'm going to go under the watch of Kevin O'Connell. That speaks volumes. That should tell you right there all you need to know about how Kevin O'Connell is viewed in the league and how much respect he has from players. Because Daniel Jones is right. Like, if he wants his image cleaned up, there are not many better places you can go than Minnesota right now, because all O'Connell has done in his time as a head coach is get the most out of every quarterback and elevate that quarterback. I mean, look at Kirk Cousins. Right? He got Kirk, and he helped turn in a year and a half of some of Kirk's best play. Kirk had a great year in 2022. Right? Minnesota had a great regular season. Not great in the postseason, but hey, still a really good regular season. Then 2023, Kirk in the first 8 weeks of the season is on pace to set career highs. He's killing it. Unfortunately, pops his Achilles. There goes the rest of the season. But he was on pace to have a career year under Kevin O'Connell. And look, Kirk's not shy about putting up good stats. That's not easy to do, is set career highs. If you're Kirk Cousins, O'Connell was able to do that, or at least have him on track to do that before, obviously, we know the injury. Look what he's doing this year with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold! The Vikings are 9-2 with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. And they're not winning in spite of him, by the way. Darnold this year is top 10 in every category imaginable. Touchdown passes, passing yards, passer rating, completion percentage. A guy whose career was left for dead by the Jets, by the Panthers, to an extent the 49ers as well. Everyone, including myself, wrote him off. Thought, oh, he's nothing in this league. He's forever a backup. And here Minnesota is. Here Kevin O'Connell is. Welcoming Sam into his harbor of safety. And now turning out a 9-2 season so far, nipping at the heels of the Lions for the division lead, and making Sam Darnold a viable quarterback. And even last year, right, we just talked about Kirk Cousins' injury. Well, even when Kirk got hurt halfway through the year, Minnesota was still in the playoff race for a large part of that second half of the season, despite having the combination of Nick Mullins, Joshua Dobbs, and Jaron Hall getting starts at quarterback for Minnesota. Not many coaches are doing that. And so when you look at the NFL and the importance of getting the quarterback right, developing the guy, getting the most out of a quarterback, whether it's in free agency, in the draft, and make a trade. And Kevin O'Connell, man, all he's done in his time in LA with the help of Sean McVay, and now in his time as a head coach in Minnesota, all he's done is make sure every single quarterback option he's given works. And isn't that the sign of a good coach? We throw a lot of flowers at guys that are able to win with a lot of talent around them. But the true mark of a good coach is putting guys in positions to succeed and making sure that, hey, I'm going to get the most out of your talent. Some quarterbacks are more gifted than others. But the best coaches are able to at least, take a B quarterback and make him an A-. Take an A quarterback, make him an A+. That to me is one of the great marks of coaching. Not wins or losses per se, but how much can you make that player better outside of just their individual talent? And I think there are very few coaches that do it right now better than Kevin O'Connell. I think that's why, when you look around, I think he is one of the best coaches in the league, but he doesn't get enough credit for it. Like, he doesn't have the rings of an Andy Reid, even the ring of a Sean McVay. He doesn't have the Super Bowl appearances like Kyle Shanahan does. I think those things are coming, though. Like, I think he's only on the come up. This is not a guy that's going to perpetually fall short in the playoffs, and not going to be a guy that's always kind of the bridesmaid, never the bride. He feels like he's on the come up here. He's close to breaking through and really, now being a staple late in the postseason and in Super Bowls. He, to me, is the real deal. And I think Daniel Jones today just highlights the fact where he could have went almost anywhere, including San Francisco. He chose Minnesota, in part because he knows there are very few coaches right now you can trust to get the most out of a quarterback than Kevin O'Connell. It's funny because a lot of teams, and it's going to happen very soon here, as soon as Black Monday happens and coaches are fired, right, and teams start their head coach search, what do you hear more than ever? We got to find ourselves who? The next Sean McVay. We got to get ourselves the next young hotshot to come in here, work, turn our quarterback around or draft a quarterback and make him the next Patrick Mahomes. We need our Sean McVay on our team. Forget about the next McVay. You have one right now in O'Connell. Like, the next McVay is already here. It is in Minnesota. A lot of these guys hope, pray, aspire to be McVay. Right now, O'Connell is doing it. And if you said right now, Ryan, you are the GM of a team. We expanded the NFL here. There's a 33rd team. You can pluck any head coach you want to coach your team. The only guys I would take before Kevin O'Connell would be Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. That's it. I would take Kevin O'Connell over every other head coach except those three. Because this is a guy who knows offense, who's very creative, and no matter what you give him, he makes the most of it. He doesn't need a perfect situation in order to succeed. Again, if you hand him lemons, he makes lemonade. If you give him Joshua Dobbs, he's going to win a game or two. If you give him damaged goods in Sam Darnold, he's going to turn him around, make him a top 10 quarterback, and have the Vikings be one of the best teams in the NFC. There are very few like him that are able to truly turn garbage into gold. That's what O'Connell does. That's what Daniel Jones is hoping he does for him. And that's the reason why Jones chose Minnesota and specifically chose O'Connell. And I think this should highlight for the rest of the NFL. Kevin O'Connell's a great coach. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He, to me, is the most underrated coach in all of the NFL. If you think there's a coach right now that doesn't get the respect, who is even more disrespected, more overlooked than Kevin O'Connell, 855-212-4227. I want to hear from you. It's Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me on Twitter, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. And we are streaming the show on the Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. Check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can watch a show and also comment there as well. Kevin O'Connell did speak today. It's not official yet. I believe the paperwork is supposed to go through on Friday. But Kevin O'Connell, nonetheless, was still able to talk about his new quarterback in Daniel Jones and talked about what he liked from the former Giant signal caller.
Really like the person, the human being, the makeup, and then the player, Daniel Jones. I think there's so much out in front of him that are going to be really good things that we get to personally be a part of, and I can't wait to work with him.
Look, he's going to be in the practice squad. I know Sam Darnold right now is a little gimpy. I don't expect Daniel Jones to contribute for Minnesota at all. I don't think Daniel Jones, even again with the magic touch of Kevin O'Connell, if you're another or a different team right now in the NFL that needs a quarterback next year, maybe you're not high enough in the draft to get one, or maybe you're in a position where, I don't want to take a rookie. I want to kind of maybe get an experienced vet, hit the ground running. I would steer clear of Daniel Jones. Again, I think O'Connell can work magic with him if he's forced to play him. I don't think that those skills and that success he would have would translate to most other teams. Daniel Jones is too injury prone. He turns the ball over too much. And the same mistakes he makes, he's made even 2 weeks ago, he was making his rookie year. Didn't really grow, didn't really learn. I think he's a lost cause. But I think where Jones chose to go highlights, at least for me, why Kevin O'Connell is one of the best coaches in the league And for me, in my money, the most underrated guy in the NFL. 855-212-4227. Again, if you think there's a coach who is more underrated, not getting the proper respect they deserve than right now the Minnesota Vikings head coach, 855-212-4227. I want to hear from you. Again, also on social media, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. And our Infinity Sports Network YouTube chat is where you can comment as well. We'll get your thoughts, and when we return, I will tell you the most ridiculous thing you will hear over this holiday break. You may think it has something to do with politics or the election or gender, whatever, right? There's a lot of crazy family topics that come up around this time. I promise you, what you're about to hear next is crazier than anything regarding those subjects. I'll tell you that when we do return. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Sports fans, though, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, almost over, by the way, so hurry up, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 40 cents for every purchase of shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at depend.com.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
on, big fella. You drunk, big fella. 2 sips and now you want to trip, big fella. You not a drinker. I can see it all in your leg, big fella. You wobbly, big fella. You finna fall. Sit down, you drunk, big fella.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Best sports show in the country, my friend JR. Always a pleasure to talk to you, brother.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on this Wednesday. If you do choose to drink tonight, a lot of people will. God bless you. It's a great night to be out on a town. A lot of college kids coming back home, seeing old friends, old flings. Maybe you're in town with family. This is a great night to go out, have a few pops, have a good time. Just do it responsibly, please. I don't have to tell you that. You should know already, but please, no drinking and driving. That's obvious. Very selfish move on your part. You not only put your life in jeopardy, everyone else's lives in jeopardy as well. Just do Uber. Uber's crazy expensive tonight, right? They jack it up on purpose. But whatever the Uber is, it is 50 million times cheaper than going to jail, killing somebody, paying, going to court, paying that. Well, you know, like the risk versus reward, it's not even comparable. Uber, designate someone to drive, just be, you know what? Stay in at home, have some nice drinks for yourself, and don't go anywhere. That works as well. Whatever you want to do tonight, have fun, be safe as well. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey with right here on the Infinity Sports Network. We started the show off, in case you're just joining us, by talking about Daniel Jones' decision today to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. Forget Daniel Jones. His career is over. There's no reason to believe in him. No reason why really any team should sign him this offseason to be their starter. Backup, okay, fine. Starter, you're screwed. But I think this move more highlights how great of a coach Kevin O'Connell is, and how I think, to me, he's the most underrated coach in the country. He's a great coach that does not get the amount of respect and praise he should. And I think this just shines a light on how much the players respect him. I think the media and other fan bases should start doing that as well. If you have a coach you think is more underrated, who is disrespected and not getting the proper attention and accolades they think they should, or you think they should, 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me at Ryan_Hickey and the number 3, where you mad bro does tweet. What about Matt LaFleur? He deserves to be up there with the coaches you named as well. Yeah, he had Rodgers, but look at what he's done with Malik Willis in the 3 games he's played. I agree. Matt LaFleur is to me, a great coach. And forget the Malik Willis 3-game thing when he filled in for Jordan Love earlier this year. How about what he's done with Jordan Love and now the 1.5 year development he's had? You know, you look at how raw Love was. Him and Anthony Richardson were probably the 2 most raw quarterbacks taken in the first round of the last 5 or so years. And with some seasoning sitting behind Rodgers and now finally putting him out there, you're seeing how good Love is. So he hit the ground last year, a little slow, but it was literally this time last year, right? Thanksgiving Day, noon Eastern in Detroit was Jordan Love's coming out party where he torched the Lions defense, jump-started the Packers, and then all of a sudden you saw Green Bay go on a run where they were in the second round of the playoffs, pushed pushed San Francisco in a game that they probably should have and could have won to go to the NFC title game. Matt LaFleur has done wonders with Jordan Love. And I think he does deserve a lot of credit. I'm with you, you mad bro, whatever your name is, and also has an egg face as a emoji picture or whatever they call that, avatar. There it is. But I would agree. Like, I think Matt LaFleur, when he had Aaron Rodgers, I really thought LaFleur was being carried by Rodgers to greatness, and he's long for the ride. Like, how much you're actually going to teach Rodgers? He's kind of a one-man wolf pack. You're kind of seeing now with the Jets, like, he does his own thing. He kind of wants to be in control. Doesn't really want anyone telling him no. So I really thought LaFleur was basically a glorified babysitter. And now you're seeing with Love, and even, again, in the small sample size of Malik Willis when he played earlier this season, you're seeing how good of a developer Matt LaFleur is. And I think he does deserve credit for his coaching as well. I don't think I would take right now Kevin O'Connell over Matt LaFleur. But LaFleur is quickly rising up that coaching rank in terms of, like, you know, if you had to rank coaches, he is quickly rocketing up the board. That is for sure. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. So I told you before the break, right? This is a dangerous weekend because this is a weekend where, for whatever reason, family members, cousins, friends of friends, significant others, they decide this is the time. Let's start spouting off the craziest takes we can. You want to talk religion? Let's do it. You want to talk politics? Let's dive into it. You want to talk gender? Let's do it, right? These are always notorious this time of the year, setting up for some of the most uncomfortable dinner conversations possible. But I guarantee you, forget all the comments about religion, politics, gender. The most ridiculous thing you will hear this weekend is Kyle Shanahan being on the hot seat. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we talking about? Forget the fact that the 49ers are 5-6, just a game out of first place, by the way, in the NFC West. Forget all that for a second. You really want to tell me a guy is on the hot seat who in the last 5 years has gone to 2 Super Bowls and has been to 4 NFC title games. You want to tell me you're thinking about firing him? He's on the hot seat. He has to prove himself for the rest of this year. What are we talking about? That's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. So it's clearly not reality. There is no chance Kyle Shanahan is actually on the hot seat. But this is what I actually want to talk about with this. In this world, right, I think this, I can't even call it a report. This notion, we'll put it that way, of Kyle Shanahan being on the hot seat highlights how right now in today's internet, it is easier to push misinformation than verified information. It is so much easier to get duped and spread lies than it is to spread the truth. Because this is what I'll ask you. If you heard those rumors, if you've seen that reports going on social media, if you heard maybe a local sports show, a different sports show you listen to, talk about Kyle Shanahan over the last 24 or 48 hours or so, being on the hot seat, my question for you is, where is that from? Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat, it had to come from somewhere, right? Someone had to say it. Someone had to report it. It's getting enough steam right now where it's not just coming from Joe Blow. It's not coming from your friend down the street. Oh, Kyle Shanahan, is on the hot seat. Those quickly get dispelled. But this has taken on a life of its own. This has some legs. So my question is, where did it come from? And I started to do some digging today before the show of trying to say, okay, well, there's a lot of talk about Shanahan on the hot seat. Is there a report? Is there an anonymous executive? Is there, reporters speculate? Like, who started this fire? I couldn't find it. Literally couldn't find it. I see a lot of people on social media talking about Shanahan on the hot seat. I could not find the source. The only thing I could find was a Bleacher Report graphic that had a picture of Kyle Shanahan that said hot seat. There's no credits. There's no reports. There's no, hey, ESPN's talking. There's a rumor out there. Oh, the Athletic is reporting. Maybe he could be on the hot seat. They literally just put out a graphic. Maybe an 18-year-old in the social media department said, let's have some fun. Kyle Shanahan, hot seat. And now it's taken on a life of its own towards actually reaching real people. Where actual 49ers have to comment on. I mean, this, again, I don't even know what to call it because it's not real, but yet somehow it reached the feet of Deebo Samuel, who then had to answer on his own podcast, Cleats and Convos with Deebo Samuel, because everyone right now has a podcast. He had to answer right now if he thinks Kyle Shanahan's on the hot seat. Take a listen.
First year Super Bowl, second year, COVID hit. Year after that, NFC Championship. Year after that, NFC Championship again. Last year, Super Bowl. So it's like, why are you saying he in the hot seat? At the end of the day, we 5-6 right now, but we got like 6-7 games ahead. And at the end of the day, like, Kyle is one of the smartest, most player, you like those player coaches that people could ask for.
Well, like you heard Deebo outline the credentials and the reasons why Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the league. But like, again, I know he's his own podcast, right? So you got to talk about what's going on. And maybe because it's his own coach, he feels more inclined to mention it than if it was, I don't know, Doug Peterson, you name it. Even like a coach, let's say Matt LaFleur, who's doing a good job. And let's just say this unfounded report of Matt LaFleur being on the hot seat was there. Is Deebo talking about it? Maybe. Definitely more inclined to talk about it because it's his own coach and he's talking about his own podcast. But now we're at the point where even Kyle Shanahan himself is getting asked about his status and how he thinks his job, how he's doing at his job. Today, at his own press conference, he's being asked, Kyle, so far at 5-6 with the offense not being great, how would you grade yourself as a coach so far this season? Here's what Shanahan said.
That's up to you guys to grade me. I work as hard as I can to get a win that week, and we haven't won as much as I believe we should have. We've lost 3 games that I feel we were capable of winning and should have won. Those are the ones that are the toughest. In terms of grading myself, I'm not going to grade myself. I'm going to work as hard as I can, and I'm the same guy I am right now that I've always been. We got to overcome some things that we're in right now, and I believe we can overcome them, but we put ourselves in a tough bind, and that's why we got to be extremely good and successful here going forward to be able to overcome that stuff.
Shanahan's pro with the media. He's not going to say anything that kind of sparks a fire here, but just think about it. I went from a few minutes ago looking on social media, trying to figure out the roots of where these reports are coming from. Can't find it outside of one graphic on social media, and now it's reaching players and coaches. What are we doing? This is not true. There's zero chance of it actually happening. But I think it just highlights right now how easy it is to spread misinformation and why, honestly, it's a good rule in life, but especially on social media, especially on Twitter, double check what you see. Make sure it's Adam Schefter with a check mark next to it tweeting, not Adam Shefty. That's misspelled and has, 1,000 followers. It's so easy to get fooled. And I think a lot of people have gotten fooled to this quote-unquote report that really came from nowhere. That's to me what these rumors highlight. It's not about Shanahan. Look, the 49ers had a bad year. That's undebatable. We talked about it. I talked about it on my Sunday show, Hick At Nite. I think the 49ers this year have been the most disappointing team in the NFL so far this season. We can talk about preseason expectations versus where they are right now. There's no team that's been more disappointing in San Francisco. And Shanahan deserves blame for it. I'm not saying he's absolved of blame. He absolutely deserves blame. But blame to the point of firing him? No. Think about it. If he was fired, let's say, every team, probably except the Chiefs, is firing their own coach to hire him. There's no shot he's actually on the hot seat. No shot whatsoever. So if you have seen that, if you have heard that, it is not true. It is not real because you can't actually find and trace back to where the source of this report actually came from. And the 49ers are not stupid enough to fire what I would call the second or third best coach in all of the NFL. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. Speaking of coaching, David is calling from Dallas. What's up, David?
Hey, Ryan.
Hey,
a couple things. First of all, O'Connell is underrated because of the market he's in. You and I both know if he was doing that in the New York market, possibly Chicago, L.A. Rams, because nobody cares about what happens with the Chargers. Here in Dallas,
I don't think so, David. I don't think markets exist in the NFL because it's such a sport we talk about every day. The Packers are one of the most popular teams in the league. The team's one of the teams we talk about the most. They're in the smallest market. They are literally in the smallest market. I don't think it's market. I think part of it, what it is, David, is right now lack of playoff success. He's been in the playoffs one time so far, right? They bowed out to the Giants, ironically enough. They're on their way now this year. But Minnesota, I think in part because Kirk Cousins was there for a while and kind of put a stink on the organization of good regular season team but can't prove it in the playoffs, it feels like O'Connell is kind of maybe suffering from that to where until he wins a playoff game, maybe until he goes to an NFC title game, that's what it's going to take for him to get the true respect nationally around the league.
All right, that's what you believe. I'm just telling you, I think if he was with one of the more glamour franchises, the amount of national TV games and everything else would be through the roof. On Shanahan, as a Cowboys fan and having gone to games and talked to some 49er fans, there are, I would say, probably a 30 to 40% of the fan base that's soured on Shanahan going forward. And a part of it is they're looking back at the same time. They're seeing, let's face it, Warner and Samuel, some of these guys, their window's pretty much closed. And they're coming out of their primes now. Trent Williams is getting old. They're going to have to pay Purdy. And a lot of them are looking back and saying, well, what if we could have got Brady? What if we could have got Rodgers? Because the whole thing with Shanahan was, I don't want those guys. It's my system. It's my system. It's my system. And then what happens? They lose to the best quarterback. He rides whatever quarterback he can find there, and he does it with Garoppolo and Purdy. So I've heard that. And then I've heard people say, well, we didn't win anything with him. Maybe try something new. So that's where I can tell you 49er fans I've heard say that.
Those fans that you're talking to, David, are idiotic. I appreciate the call. Those 49er fans are stupid. Again, you've been to 4 NFC title games and 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Outside of Andy Reid, no one else has done that. And you are not going to the Super Bowl getting blown out. Look, you want to finish games better? Absolutely. He had fourth quarter leads in both games against the Chiefs. He's not getting outclassed right now by the best team, the best quarterback, the best head coach in the league. He's going toe-to-toe. They are 1, 2, 3 plays away from maybe having 2 rings on their fingers, the 49ers. They are not that far away. They are right there knocking on the door. And to talk about, not getting Brady, not getting Rodgers, well, look at Aaron Rodgers. That would have been, I think, a disaster in San Francisco with how stubborn and strong-headed Rodgers is. Not to mention, he's not a very good clutch player at all. At all. I mean, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who lost at home to Jimmy Garoppolo in the playoffs. But to that point, you have Shanahan going to the Super Bowl with Purdy and Garoppolo, 2 quarterbacks that no one expected anything from, let alone that amount of success. That should highlight right there how good of a coach he is, because not many coaches are getting that sort of success from those 2 guys. The getting frustrated with Shanahan, to me, is ridiculous. If you fire him, I'll take him. I like Shane Steichen a lot. And to me, he does have some Shanahan principles about him. If you want to fire Shanahan today, I bet you, again, maybe outside of the Chiefs, and I forgot to add the Rams. I'll add the Rams in there as well with Sean McVay. Outside of the Chiefs and Rams, I don't know any other coach right now that's going to say, yeah, I'll keep my coach over firing him and hiring Kyle Shanahan. There will be 29, 30 teams lined up to get him into their building. That alone should tell you, yeah, let's keep him and let's actually realize he's one of the best coaches in the league. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, why the snooze fest we have on Thanksgiving Day in terms of these 3 games is actually a good thing. I'll explain that to you after we get the latest sports update from Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And this report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance. After clearing waivers, Daniel Jones has found his new home, reportedly signing with the Vikings practice squad for at least the next few weeks. As for the Giants' current starter, Tommy DeVito is listed as questionable for tomorrow with a strained right forearm, but he did not practice today and also did not accompany the team to Dallas. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have ruled out Jake Ferguson for tomorrow and also Zach Martin. The Chargers are expected to be without J.K. Dobbins this Sunday against the Falcons because of a sprained knee. He is week to week. Aiden O'Connell will start for the Raiders Friday against the Chiefs. We'll have Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu on the field. The Packers have ruled out Jair Alexander, Romeo Doubs, and Edrin Cooper for tomorrow night. Through the first month of the season, the Cavaliers have been the NBA's best team, and it hasn't been close. They've won 17 of the first 18 and go for their 3rd straight tonight against the Hawks at home. The Spurs have won 4 in a row and notched their 10th win of the season last night. They're right back at it against the Lakers, who are coming off a loss in Phoenix. Meanwhile, the Suns will host the Nets after welcoming back Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal last night. And the Warriors host the Thunder, looking to overtake OKC and regain the lead out west, but will be without Steph Curry due to a bulky knee. Right now in college basketball, Auburn leads Memphis in the second half, 69-53. Earlier, Louisville routed 14th-ranked Indiana 89-61, while 3rd-ranked Gonzaga fell to West Virginia in overtime 86-78. Baylor an easy winner over New Orleans 91-60. Iowa topped Colorado 99-71. It was Tennessee over UT Martin 78-35. I'm Rich Ackerman.
855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us. The Infinity Sports Network. Give us a call. 855-212-4227. You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
First of all, I just want to say I've been listening to your show for the last few months, and I really enjoyed listening to you speak. So thanks for taking my call.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. Thank you for making us a part of your evening, most likely a part of your drive to wherever you are going. Stay safe, drive safe. Remember, some idiot cuts you off, gives you the bird, no blinker, swerving in and out. We all know those idiots on the road. Yelling at them, yelling in your car, maybe yelling to your spouse or your friend, ain't worth it. Let them go. Let them be stupid. Don't let them ruin your evening/weekend. I'll be honest, Nico. Nico Scarlato's producing tonight, doing a great job as always. I'm playing hurt today. So this week, right, because it's Thanksgiving, I'm going out to Jersey this weekend, see some family. So I'm out of my apartment. So I figured this would be a good time. Okay, got some food lying around. Maybe I'll eat it. I don't want to go food shopping and have some good food just sit there all weekend. I'm going to kind of clean out my fridge, clean out some of the cabinets. Be a good time to do a little bit of that before I do, leave. And so I was making dinner the other day, making some pasta, big pasta guy at night. And I assumed, okay, I have some sort of, jar of sauce somewhere. And I'm looking in the cabinet, looking. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm sauceless. I got nothing. And I was in a pinch. I got to leave for work. Got to go help produce JR's show. So I'm like running late. I don't have time to go to the store and get some sauce. My girlfriend's a huge Rayos girl. Loves Rayos. It does bother my stomach, though. Get a little stomach pains. Doesn't hurt. I'm sitting there, so I try to avoid as much as I can. And I see the Rayos looking at me in the corner. I go, oh, jeez, I got to do it. Pasta's already boiling. Can't make anything else. I don't have time to run into the store. So I borrowed her Rayos. I made 3 sets of pasta that I had eaten the last 3 days. And the first 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, no problems. Stomach was fine, didn't even notice. I even complimented her. Rayos tastes pretty good. My stomach's pretty good. She always gets at me for making fun of Rayos.
Oh, see, that's where you jinxed it, if the story's going where I think it's going.
And now I ate the pasta about an hour or so before the show. Don't like to eat, when I'm hosting. So ate it before the show. And now I can report 90 minutes later, Nico, my stomach hurts. It's just pain. Just straight pain. And I knew it. Like you said, I jinxed myself. By the way, I knew I was right. She said the one time I had Rayos and it hurt my stomach, she tried to blame it on something else. Oh, it wasn't that. It was like, we had like some sort of it was like a meat sauce we made. It's like, oh, she was trying to push it off and preserve Rayos. I'm like, no, I promise you, it was a sauce. Now I'm proven. I knew that. But again, now I'm proven right. With that being the case, but, when you think of some of the best performances, like Byron Leftwich, remember when he was at Marshall getting carried on when he broke his leg and still continued to play. Fred Warner, we learned today, is playing through a fractured ankle. When you think about some of the most heroic performances you've seen where guys are just gutting it out, think about Ryan Hickey as well. Think about me when you think about Byron Leftwich and Fred Warner and some of the other guys that have played through injury. I am hurt. But we're still pushing through, Nico. And by the way, the bigger thing is, look, I was right. I wish I was wrong, because I'd rather be wrong and have a pain-free stomach, but I was right.
So
I knew it.
2 things. One, we can agree that you're right, but you can never say that to her.
Oh, I'm telling her. I'm seeing her after the show. I already texted her, actually. By the way, I was right. So trust me, that I will not let her live that down.
2, did you have any butter in the house? I'm a huge, if there's no sauce, don't get me wrong, Alfredo sauce, Alavaca, anything you got, I'm good with it, pesto.
Bolognese, right.
Yeah, but if I don't have sauce, I'll gladly go little pasta and butter. You put it on a frying pan, let it cook, throw some Parmesan cheese on top.
That's delicious. I'm not against it. The problem is, buttered pasta, when you reheat it, tastes terrible. And that's the thing, right? Working nights, working this shift, I usually eat during the show. So I'll make dinner at home, right? Then transport it, put it in the fridge here, and then heat it up, usually around this time, honestly, to consume during the show. When I was a kid, again, my mom made plenty of buttered pasta, plain pasta. It tastes terrible heated up. If you have it straight off the pan, like you're saying, Nico, a little Parmesan in there, beautiful. As soon as though you put that in a Tupperware container. As soon as you put that in the fridge and then throw it in the microwave, the taste is gone. It's rubbery. It's awful. So that's why I did have butter. I thought about it for a hot second. Then I said, you know what? I'd rather risk the stomach pains of Rayo's than knowing for 3 days I'm going to have bad pasta because, again, I made it for to last 3 days. Buttered pasta tastes bad to me 3 hours after it's put in the fridge, let alone, can I imagine 3 days how that would taste. So that is why we were left in a desperate situation. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm paying for it. I am paying for it. One thing we won't pay for, and it is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network, I think is the football games tomorrow. I don't know about you, Nico. I'm actually glad we have 3 pretty stinky games. Because Thanksgiving, I think, is like one big distraction where you got friends over, you got family over, even if it's a small gathering, right? You don't have a lot of people. Even if it's small. My family's pretty big, so we have like 30, 35 people tomorrow. So there's just, as you can imagine, distractions everywhere, right? But even if it's a small gathering, maybe grandma and grandpa come over, aunt and uncle, brother, sister come over, it's, 5, 7 people. Even if it's small, you're still like not, for the most part, locked in on the games, right? You're cooking in the kitchen. You're getting things set up. Maybe, if you're meeting your significant other's family for the first time, right? It's always a popular holiday for that as well. You're talking to grandma. You're talking to dad. What are your intentions with my daughter? What is your job, et cetera, et cetera. There's always some sort of distraction going on. So you can never be totally locked in. And that's why I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to have 3 games that are not very good. Like, I don't want a good game on Thanksgiving. I don't want a good game ruined by having one eye on the game and one eye on the turkey, I kind of like the 3 games the way they are, especially with the times. I think the best game by far is the noon Eastern game, or 12:30 Eastern. Bears-Lions. I'm intrigued by it. I think the Lions win pretty handily, but I'm excited to see how Caleb Williams does look. Again, this time last year, we saw Jordan Love really have his breakout game against the Lions. Maybe we'll see the same thing happen here for Caleb Williams this time around, but it's intriguing divisional battle. I think we can get a good game here and make it interesting. But again, noon Eastern, 12:30 Eastern, right? Maybe some families coming over, so they're late coming over. You can sit down more. Maybe you put the bird in the oven, so now you got like 2 hours of free time. Like, that is, I think, the window by far where you could be the most locked in and pay the most attention. They put the best game in the window where I think most people are available. The 4:30 Eastern window, forget. I can't say anything on Cowboys-Giants. Forget it. And it looks like Drew Lock will start for the Giants. Tommy DeVito is dealing with some sort of forearm injury. So he doesn't look like he's going to play. Doesn't matter. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, Cowboys, don't care. Don't care. But again, that's right in the middle of dinner time, right? If you got grandma and grandpa talking to you, if you are trying to, figure out, put the finishing touches on the food, get on the food line, maybe you got to talk to your aunt and uncle on the, there's just so much going on around dinner time that, put the worst game there. Fine. That's when the least amount of people will be locked in. And it's always out in the background, so you have an excuse to go watch. It's one of those bad games where you'll watch if you got nothing else to do. But it's nice because there's so much going on. For the most part, you don't have to waste a good game and feel like you're missing out on some good action to go catch up with family or friends or do some stuff around the house. Then the night game, I think the night game is perfect too. Dolphins-Packers in Lambeau Field. It's going to be cold in Lambeau. So you know what? Cuddle up on the couch, put a nice blanket on, maybe have some nice dessert, watch Tua freeze his butt off. Packers are an intriguing team. On paper, it's an intriguing matchup. Green Bay should blow them out. There's no chance I think Miami's offense shows up at all in these conditions. And so it's like you can get intrigued, but also you can fall asleep by halftime and not miss a thing, which is the best thing, right? It's the best part. These games I think are all put perfectly to where the attention will be the most in the morning / afternoon and then kind of dwindle as the day goes on. So you put the best game first. And then even Black Friday, a lot of traveling, maybe going shopping, maybe going out with friends, meeting them or whatever. It's good to have a game, all right? Something to have on the background, distraction. Raiders, Chiefs. Blowout city. Chiefs should hammer them. But again, it's one of those games where the Raiders could make it close. Could be interesting. Kansas City will win. Probably cover the 2-touchdown spread. But you have a reason to watch. Maybe you can have some friends, hey, let's go watch the games. You have an excuse to go out, have some beers during the middle of the day, right? It's like, it's good to have the excuse to watch the game, maybe get out, some family activities. But it's not a game where truly you can actually be locked in on and focused on. Holidays are always distracting. I'm glad we got some of the best games on Sunday. Bengals, Steelers, Eagles, Ravens, Colts, Patriots. I'm just kidding about that one. See if you're paying attention. That one stinks. I'm a Colts fan. That's one of those you have to watch. That's very little excitement about that game. 49ers Bills, though. Like, I'm very happy. Maybe it's just me selfish. I don't know how other people feel about it, but this is just how I feel about it. I think we get the best games on Sunday. And for Thanksgiving, that's what I want. I don't really want good games on Sunday. I like having games. I'm sorry. I don't want good games on Thursday. I like having games on Thursday. I like having something on in the background, like having an excuse to watch it. But I don't want actual matchups here that are important, that are good. I don't want, Lions 49, or that's a bad example because the 49ers stink. I don't want Lions Eagles 4:30 Eastern on Thanksgiving Day. I don't want that. Because you're not going to be locked in. You're not going to be enjoying the game, which should be a great game between two elite teams. I don't want Bills Chiefs on Thanksgiving or Black Friday. I think the NFL did it right here where they put measly games on during the holidays where people will watch, but not to where you have to be totally locked in on paying attention to. NFL got it right here. So I don't want to hear any complaining. Oh, the schedule sucks. What are we going to do? Better that way. Trust me, it's better. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, the College World Playoff rankings came out yesterday. I have one takeaway that I want to share with you, but also I want to play a game. Dead or alive? We are approaching the final week of the regular season. Which team's college football playoff hopes are still alive? Whose are dead? We'll discuss when we do return. Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
And welcome on into the JR Sport Brief Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Thank you for making us a part of your Wednesday. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on what is, I'm sure, a traffic-filled, stress-induced drive right now that you are making to go somewhere. Anywhere, wherever you may be going, thank you for making us a part of it right here on the Infinity Sports Network. So the college football playoff rankings dropped yesterday, and for the most part, I didn't have too many crazy takeaways from them. Sorry, I'm working to my computer. You know, just when you want to rely on technology and have things work out in your favor, my computer sucks. Everything I have for the show is on it. And my battery, I don't know how this works, but apparently my battery health is not great. I went to go to Apple to check it out, a MacBook, check it out a few weeks ago, and they said my battery percent is at like 83. It's functioning at 83%. And once it gets to 80, I was told, you got to get a new battery. First of all, biggest scam by Apple ever. They make a battery, and as soon as it goes below 80% capacity, it's cooked and you got to get a new one. But I'm bordering right now on that 80 percentile. I went to Apple a few weeks ago to try to get a new battery. I figured, okay, I was here in the summertime. You told me that 83%. I'm sure I'm getting close to that 80% threshold. That is the almighty here when it comes to batteries all of a sudden stop not working anymore. And they said, yeah, we can change your battery, no problem. It'll be about 3 to 5 business days. What do you mean 3 to 5 business days? It's going to take 3 to 5 days to change out a battery? He said, by the time you got to get in there, you got to like undo some adhesive, take off the speakers. You know, there's other laptops that are right now currently in queue waiting to get changed out. Maybe it's just me. I assume most jobs and most people use their laptop like every day and have a lot of stuff on it. I couldn't imagine being without my laptop for like 3 days. I need it. I literally, to get ready for JR show, get ready for this show, I need my laptop. My phone is not enough. So safe to say, I did not get my battery changed. And now I think it's wreaking havoc on me where I'm trying to just access some things here. Safari's quitting on me. I don't know if you could hear it. Hopefully not. But the fan in the laptop has just been running now for 2 hours. It is just humming. So we're going to fight through it. Again, I'm playing hard. My stomach hurts. My computer's not working. We are gritting through this Thanksgiving Eve show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Thank you again for joining us. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Initially, when it comes to the college football playoff rankings, I really don't have too many issues with what the committee did last night. They dropped Indiana from 5-10, which I thought was fair. They lost by 3 touchdowns on the road to Ohio State. I thought they deserved to be in the playoff, top 12, which they were. I think going from 5-10 was appropriate. I saw this push for media folks wanting Notre Dame, who's right now currently number 5, to jump over Penn State number 4. The committee didn't do that, and that's the right move. Not because I'm a Penn State guy. It's because you look at like Notre Dame, and I saw a few people say this, it's time to forgive Notre Dame's loss to Northern Illinois. For why? Forgive what? They lost. They have the worst loss by far of any team sniffing the playoff. And we're going to pretend because it happened back in week 2 that now it doesn't matter anymore? It absolutely matters. Notre Dame is going to get in the playoff. But to think that they should be over a Penn State team that has a similar record to them, but Penn State's one loss being to Ohio State by a touchdown, and Notre Dame's one loss being a loss to NIU at home, who, by the way, is not exactly killing the MAC either. They're not some, juggernaut team that now all of a sudden is a force to be reckoned with. That loss will haunt, as it should, Notre Dame all season long. There's no time to forgive a loss like that. What are we doing? So the committee didn't do it after Notre Dame blew out Army. Rightfully so. Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5. And other than that, no complaints outside, of course, of one team that befuddled me, Clemson. Clemson right now is sitting there at 12. They are the first team because of how the tiebreakers work, right? Where the top 5 conference champions are automatically in to the college football playoff. The Big 12 winner, which right now the highest ranked team is Arizona State. They checked in these latest rankings at 16. They would slide up above Clemson, and they would take that 12 spot. So right now, the Tigers, first team out of the playoff. How are they even in the mix? How are they knocking on the door right now of the college football playoff? Look at their resume. They've beaten nobody. And forget beating nobody. They've only played this year to this point 3 teams from the Power 4 that are bowl eligible. Forget ranked, bowl eligible. And their record, by the way, in those 3 games, 1-2. They got their doors blown off by Georgia, right, week number 1, and they lost at home by double digits to Louisville. Clemson's best when I was looking at it is probably Pitt. Oh, yikes. So 2 losses, one of them being a blowout variety, 1 at home, no impressive wins. And they are right now, you're telling me, the first team out of the college football playoff. Make that make sense. Somebody, anybody. Make that make sense. It doesn't. That's the one head scratcher sitting there looking like, what are we doing? They should be like 17, 18, 19, 20. They shouldn't be the first one up right now. We'll get into their playoff hopes here. Obviously, they're still alive for the ACC. And if they win the ACC, they're in automatically. But that's one where Clemson's in there at 12 is befuddling, to say the least. But I thought about it. I said, okay, we got some teams right now on the outside looking in at the college football playoff. And with only one regular season weekend left, I want to play a little game with you. Dead or alive, which teams right now currently outside of the top 12, outside of the playoff race looking in, which teams are still alive here in the next week or 2 to make the playoff, and whose hopes, no matter what happens, are already dead? Nico, let's get it going.
All right, we'll start in the SEC conference and go with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Hickey, dead or alive?
I can't believe I'm saying this. They're alive. At 13, despite losing to Oklahoma, which should have right there killed any chance they have, I'd be lying to you if I said that Alabama sitting there at 13 is dead. The committee's begging for them. Right, they're begging for them to sneak in. They only dropped 6 spots. Think about it. We just talked about Indiana, right? Indiana dropped from 5 to 10 for losing on the road to Ohio State by 3 touchdowns. Bama, similarly, lost by 3 touchdowns to a team in Oklahoma that had 1 conference win before Saturday. How is that equal? And you're telling me Alabama drops 6 spots and Indiana drops 5? Bama should have dropped 10. They have no business right now being in the teens. And yet here they are at 13, 2 spots away from possibly sliding on up. They blow out Auburn. There's going to be a push. I promise you this. There will be a push to get Bama in. And if we see an upset, and we'll get some of these upsets here in a little bit, you see an upset this Saturday, I can't sit here and tell you that the committee wouldn't put Alabama in the top 12. They are alive.
How about another team from the SEC, the Gamecocks of South Carolina, dead or alive?
I won't even let you finish the question, Nico. They are dead. South Carolina is a team that bothers me so much. And has nothing to do with the coach, the program, whatever. But, like, the people, and it goes back to what we just talked about here with Notre Dame. People want to ignore what happened the first 6 weeks of the season. South Carolina lost. They have 3 losses. Their losses are to LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss. Let's just play this game out, right? Head-to-head matters. You lost to Alabama. You lost to Ole Miss. Even if you beat Clemson, how can you sell me that South Carolina, who currently right now is at 15, how can you sell me they jump Alabama and Ole Miss, 2 teams not only they lost to, in the case of Ole Miss, they got blown out. Where is the path, even with a win over Clemson on the road, where is the path for South Carolina making the top 12? There is none. And, well, I see it a lot. People are talking about South Carolina. Hey, if they win, they should be in. I've seen people build a Palmetto State Bowl here as, a playoff game. A playoff game? What? Should I go, Jim Moore? Playoffs? Playoffs? How is South Carolina getting in the college football playoff? They're not, because guess what? Losses, September is not irrelevant. Because South Carolina is playing good football over the last 6 weeks does not erase what they did the first 6 weeks, in which they lost to an LSU team at home that looks worse by the day. They lost to on the road to Alabama, which they got blown up by Ole Miss. Those games still matter. So you can't tell me with, by the way, Ole Miss, Bama, South Carolina, all having 3 losses. You can't tell me if one of those 3 teams is making the playoff that it's South Carolina jumping 2 teams they lost to already this season. There's no path for the Gamecocks. If you're a South Carolina fan, I hope you're not drinking the Kool-Aid. If so, sorry to break it to you. Your playoff hopes are dead. Dead. Doesn't minimize beating Clemson. Still a big accomplishment here. But there is 0 chance South Carolina makes the college football playoff because there's no path for it.
All right, this seems like a fun one. How about the number 17 team in the country, Tulane, sitting in the American Conference, dead or alive?
Nico, they're alive. They're a team nobody's talking about. Now, it's very unlikely, but they still have a path here. And it goes back to what we talked about before. The top 5 conference champions are guaranteed a spot in. We all assumed, that means the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. And then the group of 5 gets a team. There's no specifications that say the Big 12 champion is guaranteed to be in. So you look at Tulane first. They are 9-2 in the season. They actually play tomorrow night. They're playing Memphis, who also is 9-2 in the season. If you have Tulane win that game, then beat Army in the AAC championship game, you're looking at an 11-2 Tulane team, who, again, currently right now is 17th in the country. Tulane is 1 spot behind right now the highest-ranked Big 12 team, which is Arizona State. You look at the Big 12, Nico, and we've talked, the prevailing thought is, okay, there's 4 teams alive for the Big 12 championship. It's right now Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, Colorado. There is technically, and you need a lot of chaos, but it is college football. There are 9 teams right now alive to make the Big 12 title game next week. What if we're talking about a 3-loss Kansas State team? What if we're talking about a West Virginia team or a Texas Tech team? What if one of those dark horses that are not even ranked right now wins the next 2 games, get a few things break their way, and you have a 3-loss Big 12 champ? Who do you think will be ranked higher? Tulane or Kansas State? I bet you it's Tulane. And so they have a path here as the 5th highest ranked conference champion. They have a real chance here to clinch a berth and make the college football playoff. They're alive. Roll Greenway, they are alive. What a world we're living in.
Oh, I would love to see it. Back to the SEC, a couple of teams that were upset a week ago. We'll start in Oxford. How about Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels, dead or alive?
Dead. They are dead. Similar to what we said about South Carolina. Where's the path? Like the math doesn't math. I was trying to go through some scenarios here. There's ultimate chaos. Let's just say, Nico, all hell breaks loose over the weekend here, where you have Notre Dame lose to USC, Miami lose to Syracuse, SMU lose. Like, you have some real chaos. That's realistic. Indiana losing would be huge. They're also 30-point favorites against Purdue. They're not going to lose. So realistic within reason here. Those teams lose. I still don't know how, like, Ole Miss is jumping up. Like, they're right now at 14. The last at-large spot right now goes to Indiana at 10. So they got to go realistically from 14 to 10, because 11 right now is taken by Boise State, and 12 will be the Big 12 winner or Tulane. So 11 and 12 are already accounted for. You got to get to 10. Are they getting to 10 with where they are right now after losing to Florida, with a loss already to Kentucky, with a loss to LSU, and the only good win they have on their schedule, Georgia? I don't think so. Their playoff hopes died last week in Gainesville. Math does not math in the favor of Ole Miss. Their playoff hopes, Nico, dead.
Big game in College Station this week. How about the Texas A&M Aggies, dead or alive?
Oh, very alive. They control their destiny. They beat Texas, they're in the SEC championship. They beat Georgia, they're in. Now, A&M, I thought before last week's Auburn game, I thought, you know what, if you just beat Texas, win or lose in the SEC title game, you're in. I thought a 3-loss A&M team, if they lost to Georgia, would not be left out of the college football playoff. I now take that back. When you lose to Auburn on the road, I don't care what the score was, you lost to Auburn, period. Auburn stinks. Now you have 3 losses. If you lose to Georgia, you have 4 losses, you're not making it. Even if you beat Texas, you do not have a good enough resume with 4 losses to make it in. The committee's talked about not wanting to punish teams that make the conference championship that much. If A&M beats Texas, which I don't think they will, but if they do, and loses to Georgia, they're out. But we've seen Georgia, right? Carson Beck can throw 3 interceptions. That defense can be leaky. Marcel Reed can get hot. The path is there where A&M wins the next 2 games. They're a lock. They're in. So they're very much alive. I don't think they actually will run the table the next 2 games. Again, I think they lose to Texas on Saturday. But technically, they're very much alive. Well alive at sitting there at number 20.
Last one for you, and this one I find very intriguing. We don't know specifically what team yet, but the ACC championship game loser, dead or alive.
This is fascinating. It's 3 teams right now you're down to, right? Miami, SMU, Clemson. 2 of the 3 will play, and obviously one of those teams will lose. I think right now, I'll answer your question in 2 parts. Miami, I think, is alive. Because of the chaos we saw in the SEC, I don't think an 11-2 Miami team that loses to SMU in the ACC title game, I don't think they're dropping out. In part because what I just said, the committee's going to try to not, punish teams that make their conference championship game too much. So I can't see Miami right now, who's sitting there currently at number 6. If they lose to SMU right now, who's currently number 9, I don't see Miami dropping from 6 to 13. I don't think they get, pushed for Bama. I think an 11-2 Miami team is actually in. I don't love their resume. Their wins are not great. I would have for sure said, hey, a 2-loss Miami team is out. But after what we saw from the SEC last week with Ole Miss and Alabama going down, and even A&M as well, I think right now an 11-2 Miami team is still in. Same with SMU. The one team where I will say is out is Clemson. They already have 2 losses. If they are able to beat South Carolina and let's say lose to SMU, I think Clemson is out in that case. So I think 2 of the 3, Miami loses, they're still alive. SMU loses, they're still alive. Clemson loses, I think they are dead. So to recap really fast, you just heard the ACC championship loser scenario. Ole Miss, their playoff hopes dead. Tulane's playoff hopes are alive. South Carolina's dead. Alabama's very much alive, along with A&M as well. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. We'll get some college football thoughts here. Which upset are you looking at right now that you're circling that no one sees coming in college football? We've seen a bunch over the last few weeks. I'll give that answer in a little bit. We'll talk about some of the most impactful games of the college football weekend. Also, when we do return here, I do want to give props to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They made a big move, right, in signing Blake Snell last night, adding to what already is a loaded team. There's a lot of frustration with the Dodgers. I'll tell you why you should actually respect what they're doing when we do return. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. But before that, I want to remind you something. Football season, if you didn't know, is heating up, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while watching football. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 100 times your money. Prize Picks even invented a flex play so you can still cash out if one of your picks doesn't hit. Let's say you took Justin Herbert the other day, right? Big first half he had. Oh, I believe Justin Herbert second half, he'll have a touchdown or 2, and that doesn't hit. Yeah, you have a chance to save your money. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code JR and get $50 credit instantly. When you play, just $5. That's code JR on Prize Picks to get $50 credit instantly. When you play, $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states where it is lawful to wager. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Man, first of all, I just want to start off by saying I respect you a lot, and I love your show and everything that you do. So just want to say mad love and love everything that you do.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network, 855-212-4227. I want to get your college football thoughts here in a second, but I do want to give the LA Dodgers credit here first. I know everybody's villain, right? They're just buying championships left and right. Shohei Ohtani last year, Yamamoto last year. They win the World Series. They have the MVP and Ohtani on their team. And what do they do as an encore? Be the first team to drop big bucks in this year's free agency. News came about a little bit less than 24 hours or so ago where the Dodgers agreed to free agent pitcher Blake Snell, 5-year, $182 million deal. Of course, some deferrals in there as well. Classic, right? Wouldn't be the Dodgers recently without putting some deferrals in there. And then I saw the reaction on social media, which is disgust, which is sickness, which is, you got to kid me. Baseball needs to change. The Dodgers are acting crazy right now. This is unfair what they're doing. Every single fan of baseball, really every single fan of any team in sports should be applauding the Los Angeles Dodgers. You want to know why? Because they are operating like every single fan wishes their team operates. They run like a fan is actually running, because you know what they do? They prioritize winning. Most teams in all sports prioritize financials. Oh, the player's too expensive. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, well, we're paying all this guy this amount of money. We can't give anyone else, more money over here. The Dodgers just gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million, and they said in doing so, let's push most of that money back, 20 years from now so we can buy more players right now. Let's give ourselves the best chance to win the World Series this year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. We're going to maximize having Ohtani on our team. Isn't that how, if a fan was running the Dodgers, isn't that what they would do? Make sure money's no object, not be constrained by financials, but instead saying, you know what? Price be damned. Money be damned. We are going to put the best team money can buy on this field, and we are not going to allow any financial constraints to prevent us from getting better players. That is exactly how, especially when we were younger growing up and more naive, that is how we all believed teams operated, that they wanted to win first, money second. Now, as you get older, that's one of the hardships, right, of growing up. You learn the hard, cold truth. The hard, cold truth is teams want to win, but they want to win while spending the least amount of money possible. Some owners, are different, but for the most part, it's let's win on a budget. Let's win while spending only a certain amount of money. The Dodgers said to hell with that. The money, the price tag does not matter. If we need him and he's good, we're signing him. The money is irrelevant. That is the dream. That is a sports fan's dream. We need more teams like the Dodgers, not less. We need less Pittsburgh Pirates team, how they operate. We need less Oakland A's. We need less, whatever, you name it, penny pinching team out there. We need Rays. There's no reason why, I don't want to hear about small market. There's no reason why the Rays cannot put the best team money can buy on the field each and every year. They're doing a disservice to the fans and the ones who peddle, small market, Ryan, they're poor, they got to save the money. These owners are not hurting. They don't got to save the money. They just don't want to spend it. They want to spend other people's money. The Dodgers are right now running their organization like every fan dreams of their team being run. Don't be jealous, but have this be served to you as a wake-up call to realize, why isn't our team doing this? Why aren't we spending like the Dodgers? Why aren't we adding? Why are we just okay with being okay? This Dodger team just won the World Series with the best player in all of baseball on their roster, and they said, we're still not good enough. They have, I was looking at it today, they have like 10 pitchers. Now, most of them are hurt or coming off injury. They got like 10 starting pitchers. They don't care. They keep adding. They said the more the merrier. We'll figure out a way to make it all work. I respect and appreciate so much of what the Dodgers are doing. You should as well. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Adrian is calling from Maryland. What's up, Adrian?
Hey, Ryan. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, before I get to this college thing, with the baseball, the problem is you got to get the players that are willing to defer this money. So that's the problem. If you don't have the players to defer the money, you're not going to get the players. And that's the problem probably with baseball, because you only have 6, maybe 7 teams, a handful of teams that can win the World Series, because if there was a salary cap, the teams would be even, just like the NFL, and you'd be able to get these small market teams winning a World Series.
There's not, Adrian. So it is a free-for-all. You are allowed to spend as much as you want, and it's not even about the deferrals. Like, again, if you don't want to defer, okay, fine. You're still the Dodgers. Like, the Dodgers are not, like, they're paying that $700 million for Ohtani. You know, they're giving Snell the 180. Like, they're not getting out of it. Obviously, they're just pushing down the road. But they're like, that money's coming out of them eventually. They're still spending like it's going out of style.
Okay, I'll give you that. So back to the college. Let's see. Okay, so I actually got Texas A&M winning this weekend, because I've watched Texas, and they haven't impressed me that much in winning some of the games that they have. Also with the ACC, as long as Miami makes it to the ACC championship, I think SMU and Miami's going to be in the field. The problem is, if SMU beats Miami, they're just going to flip spots. So SMU go where Miami is, Miami go where SMU is.
Right. But I agree with that, Adrian. I appreciate the call. And that's why I again, for the longest time, I thought we would see Miami, if they suffered a second loss, even in the ACC title game, they would be eliminated. But with what we saw last week in the SEC, where, again, you had 3 teams in A&M, Alabama, Ole Miss go down, that to me opened the door, not just for Indiana to stay in the playoff, but I think it also opened the door for Miami to say, you know what, we now have a little bit of flexibility. We now have, more margin for error than we otherwise normally would have. And so they were a big beneficiary here as well. When it comes to Texas A&M, I think the Longhorns do win. In part because I think they just have right now too much talent on the outside, too many weapons to cover for A&M to slow them down. I think A&M's crowd, especially early, gets them into it. And I think that's going to be the best atmosphere we have seen in all of college football. First time Texas and Texas A&M are playing in the Lone Star Showdown since 2011. College Station is going to be on fire. I think it's going to be the best atmosphere we've seen yet to date. I think that will help the Aggies early, maybe get off to a good start. But Quinn Ewers is a good quarterback. I know he's a little hampered right now with an ankle. I think he'll be fine. He's a big game guy, too. He does shine outside of that Georgia game. He's played well in all the big games Texas has played in so far. I just think the weapons they have at receiver and tight end right now are too much for A&M to keep up with. I think it'll be a close game. I think the spread's about 5.5. I think A&M covers the spread. I think it's like a 31-27 kind of game. Texas wins, but kind of leaves town with a close W over the Aggies. As a reminder, think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. It is Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. In for JR. When we do return, I want to get into one game that's big historically, but I don't think we'll have a big time, will be a great game, is Ohio State, Michigan. Buckeyes are a 21-point favorite. There is one thing that I think that can allow Michigan to go into the shoe and beat Ohio State for the 4th straight time. Tell you what that is when we do return. And again, Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network on this Wednesday. Thank you so much for making us a part of your night. Before that, we do get to that. We have the latest sports update with a man who's rocking the Tulane sweater. We were just talking about Tulane maybe making the college football playoff here, still being alive.
There you go. I'm backing him.
Representing the Green Wave. Here he is, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network, Sports Flash.
Well, the Cavaliers have easily been the best team in the NBA so far at 17-1. And they're going for their third straight tonight at home and lead the Hawks by a score of 30-18 with under 3 minutes left in the opening quarter. Jared Allen already with 8 for Cleveland. Right now in Charlotte, the Hornets trail the Heat 24-23. The Blazers lead the Pacers 31-26. Afterward, it's the Magic on top of the Bulls 38-25. Franz Wagner with 11 so far for Orlando. The Rockets on top of the Sixers 28-18. Jalen Green with 16 so far. And the Clippers lead the Wizards 35-24 in the first. Couple more college upsets today as Gonzaga, the third-ranked team in the nation, upended in overtime by West Virginia 86-76, and 14th-ranked Indiana gets crushed by Louisville 89-61. Baylor an easy winner over New Orleans 91-60. Iowa State down Colorado big 99-71. Tennessee an easy winner over UT Martin 78-35, and Auburn now 7-0 beating Memphis 90-76. Right now, Cincinnati leads Alabama State 39-25. Creighton in front of Texas A&M 31-25 in the first. In the NHL, the Wild have a 1-0 lead over the Sabres in the first. Kirill Kaprizov with his 14th. The Blues on top of the Devils by a score of 2-0. The Hurricanes lead the Rangers by a score of 1-0. Tommy DeVito of the Giants questionable for tomorrow with a strained right form. He didn't even make the trip with the team so far, while Jake Ferguson of the Cowboys is out as well as Zach Barton. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Hey, I was going to say, appreciate you taking my call, and I love the show and always respect your opinion.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It's Ryan Hickey in for JR. Drive safe. Thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday. I'm sure the traffic right now is great. I live in New York City. Right? We are broadcasting here from New York City. So I live, about 40 minutes or so more uptown. We are pretty downtown here. So I usually take the subway every day to work. But because I'm leaving and going to Jersey right after the show to meet up with my family for Thanksgiving, my parents are nice enough. They'll let me borrow the family car. So I went home last night. I actually had a dentist appointment this morning. So kind of got, killed two birds with one stone. No big deal, by the way. Easily the quickest in and out dentist appointment I've ever been in. Minimal blood, if you don't do any flossing and they get the pick in there, blood everywhere. They're there for an hour jabbing at your teeth. I was in and out in an hour, including x-rays, which I will say was pretty good. This is probably the most pain-free dentist visit I've had in a while. So that good start to the day. But then I did a drive from Long Island to the city, which is about an hour or so. Now, no traffic, about an hour, or I should say normal day's traffic, just about an hour. But of course, right, everyone's on the road today. Wednesday, everyone's trying to get out of town. It was about 2 hours or so. Factored that in, okay, fine. So I didn't get too stressed about the traffic. Thankfully, for the most part, you always get a few idiots, but that's to be expected anytime you're driving in and around New York. So nothing out of the usual. But I knew, okay, the biggest test is going to be parking. Parking around where we are here is impossible. Plenty of free spots. Problem is everyone takes those free spots. So I was like, all right, I'm going to drive around for a while, hope to find a good spot. And then also, too, in New York City, for those unfamiliar, everything's parallel parking. There's no parking spots. It's all on the curb. So I'm like, oh, boy. I never drive, right? I don't have a car in the city. I used to drive to work during the pandemic, but that was like 4 years ago. And so I stopped doing that. So I haven't probably driven to work in 3-4 years probably. So I'm like, all right, rusty driving anyway, rarely drive. Now I'm really rusty when it comes to parallel parking. I haven't probably parallel parked in 3 or 4 years. This could be interesting. And there's nothing more stressful than trying to parallel park on a busy New York City street as people are honking because the streets are so tight. So if you parallel park, everyone else behind you's got to stop, and everybody's watching. So you better not screw it up. So I'm driving around here. I see a spot. I'm like, okay, here it is. I see it. All right, this is it. One shot here. We're doing it. So you do, pull up to the driver's side, the door handle, turn the wheel, start cutting it, start backing in. You're supposed to, cut it the other way once you kind of hit like the tail light area or so. Start cutting it in. Now, I didn't get in one shot, but I made it far enough in to where, okay, do the old game of let me pull up, back up, pull in, back up, slowly cut the wheel here and there. I was very proud of myself that it only took, one true backing in, then a little adjusting again, but for the most part, one backing in to get the car perfectly parallel parked. We're talking 6 inches from the sidewalk, perfectly in between the two cars, not a dent, not a scratch. My dad's listening. Don't worry, the car's okay. And I was so fired up. I'm not kidding. As soon as I put the car in park, let out a big, let's go, pound the steering wheel. I was fired up. That made my day. So hopefully your travel experience is similar to mine. If not, I hope things turn your way here pretty fast. Someone I know is feeling the pressure and maybe cannot perform under the pressure like I just did parallel parking my car is Ryan Day. Right? The game, Ohio State and Michigan. A rivalry that has been one-sided the last 3 years. A rivalry Ryan Day has heard about going back to really since 2019, the last time he beat Michigan. And so despite the Buckeyes being 21-point favorites here, I shouldn't say despite. I think Ohio State's going to crush Michigan. Like, you look at this game on paper, there's no area Michigan matches up with and could take advantage of Ohio State. Ohio State's defense is tougher and more physical than they were in past years. So Michigan is already not really running the ball that great compared to previous years anyway. They can't just line up and bully the Buckeyes the way they're able to do in previous years. I don't see a matchup offensively or defensively that Michigan has any sort of chance in. I think it gets ugly. The only question I have that could make this game interesting and maybe even tip the scales in the Wolverines' favor is the mental toughness of Ryan Day when it comes to this game specifically. Remember, he's heard about this game and losing to Michigan now for 3 years in a row. It has been on his brain. Every day he thinks about it. Every day he's reminded about it. There are some Ohio State fans, I think, out there that would rather beat Michigan and lose a national championship game rather than lose to Michigan and win the national championship that year. There are definitely fans out there that value the Michigan game more than national championships. It's crazy, but they exist. There's a lot of pressure on Ryan Day. And if you don't know how much pressure there is on Ryan Day, how about you take a listen to this? He was on Game Time with Ryan Day this week, and he talked about the importance, the pressure of beating, as they say this week, that school up north.
We got to have, that edge, and we will, because we know what's at stake. I mean, we've felt what it's like to not win this game, and it's bad. It's one of the worst things that's happened to me in my life, quite honestly, other than losing my father and a few other things. Like, it's quite honestly, for my family, the worst thing that's happened. So we can never have that happen again, ever. And that's been the approach all season. It'll be the same approach for.
Think about that. He just said, outside for the most part of my dad dying, losing to Michigan is one of the worst things that's ever happened in my life. He's feeling the pressure. And that can go one of two ways. If he comes out and coaches confidently like he did last week against Indiana, where the message before, during, and after the game was, leave no doubt. Ryan Day exuded confidence. He said, hey, we're not going to just win this game. We're going to make sure we leave no doubt. It's not just about winning by 1 point or whatever. We're going to make sure that everyone knows how much better Ohio State is than Indiana. We're going to bury this team. He knew this game was won before the game started. I wonder, and I'm curious to see what the confidence level is of Ryan Day come Saturday. Because when you think about this game for 3 years, when your entire job security comes down to 3 hours on the last Saturday in November, that could go one of two ways. That can spark a fire under you and a desperation that has you focused and making sure every detail is paid attention to and done. Or that could have you clam up, overthink, collapse amongst the pressure, by the way, that's increased every year over that you lose to Michigan. You are now facing a Michigan team that is severely outmanned. They have no business being in this game. The only way Michigan has a chance is if Ryan Day all of a sudden feels the pressure and starts to choke. makes bad coaching decisions, coaches outside of what he normally does. I don't think that's what we'll see, but I think it's definitely worth a discussion because, again, of how he's talked about it, the noise around the program when they lose to Michigan consistently. And now, by the way, with Michigan winning a national championship last year, only adds to that pressure and that fuel of beating Michigan and getting over the hump. Ryan Day's got a lot of pressure on him. And if he coaches scared, he coaches not to lose, it could cost Ohio State. Despite the massive talent gap, it could be enough to tip the scales in the Wolverines' favor. Now, again, when it's all said and done, I think Ohio State wins and blows them out. I think it's like 41-17. I think they run up the score late to get a lot of anger out. But I think it's worth monitoring how Ryan Day's demeanor is before and during the game. Does he coach scared because he knows he doesn't want to lose again? Or does he coach aggressive to say, I'm going to make sure it's in my control that we never lose to Michigan? Urban Meyer, part of the reason why he was 7-0 against Michigan, he coached to win. He was aggressive. Ryan Day better not coach scared. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. Let's go to Tim calling from Tennessee. What's up, Tim?
How are you doing?
Good,
hey,
buddy.
I was listening to your talking about Mike Shanahan and his job in San Francisco.
Yep.
It just brought to my mind the whole ridiculousness of the championship or you're fired mentality. I mean, there's got to be some kind of building process in every championship team. Every championship team goes through hardships. Just this idea that you can just snap your fingers and build a championship is ridiculous to me.
I agree, Tim. I appreciate the call. It's a good perspective. Look, I am definitely guilty sometimes of maybe throwing in the towel or jumping the gun too fast where it's like, hey, have you seen it once, seen it twice, seen it three times? Hey, this guy can't do it. You know, a team that comes to mind and a coach that comes to mind for me is Sean McDermott and the Bills. You know, kind of banging their head against the wall against the Chiefs or even against the Bengals in the playoffs and not coming through. I think that's different because I think Sean McDermott's coaching is what's holding back the Bills from going deep in the playoffs. When it comes to Shanahan banging his head against the door, going to NFC title games consistently, getting to the Super Bowl and not winning, I agree with you, Tim. And if you look at it, right, look at right now any modern team. Like Bill Belichick right now is proven to be the anomaly where he goes, you know, takes out the Patriots and immediately goes to Super Bowls and starts winning. That's more the anomaly when it comes to coaching. Right now, if you look at the active coaches that have won Super Bowls, Andy Reid, how many failures did Andy Reid have to go through before he finally broke through and now is winning Super Bowls, it feels like, on the regular, right? He failed a ton, not just in the Super Bowl, but also in the NFC title game as well. Sean McVay, the boy wonder, everyone who thinks, oh, that's overnight oatmeal, you just hire a Sean McVay clone, all of a sudden you're going to be in the Super Bowl the next year. He made it to the Super Bowl pretty quickly with the Rams and then got humbled by Bill Belichick. Then took some time to get back before getting there in 2021 and winning. You look around, winning is hard, man. Winning is hard. And look, I think there is, obviously every fan wants to win. That's the right mindset to have. I don't think you should have a happy to be there mentality. With that said, though, there's a difference between he's not able to get it done and, hey, we're close, we just got to get over the hump. Kyle Shanahan has not been able to get over the hump. But he has proven to you and to everybody he is very capable of getting the job done. He's won a lot of high-leverage playoff games. His problem is right now he ran into the Chiefs. Again, I thought, coached well, and the 49ers have played well against the Chiefs in the two times they played them. They're knocking on the door. We've seen other coaches, I think, just commit malpractice to where they're holding their team back or the quarterback is holding their team back. Kyle Shanahan is not holding the 49ers back. He's only, I think, raising them and their level of talent. Todd is calling from Tampa. What's up, Todd?
Ryan, so good to see you power through. Good to see you power through. I want to go around the horn.
Appreciate that, Todd.
Yes, sir. I just want to congratulate Blake Snell for signing X-Ray. And I'm just saying, my Rays, we won 4-2 on the Dodgers in the World Series. We should have won that, and we want to get into it. But we're 0-2 in the World Series. My Buccaneers are 2-0 in the World Series, and we left no doubt. Ryan, Ohio State, you got to win this ball game. Indiana, you're out. I don't really want to hear what you're thinking. You're out.
Indiana's in. What are you talking about? They're out.
I don't care what they say. Let me say something about the SEC too, before I hit my Buccaneers. Texas A&M, Ole Miss could beat anybody and beat the living daylights out of them. Now you got Georgia.
Todd, you know who's undefeated?
Who's undefeated?
The SEC when it comes to hypotheticals. They have never lost a hypothetical game ever. I got to run here, Todd. We're up against it. But that argument, by the way, you don't talk about Ole Miss would beat anybody. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky. Kentucky stinks. Objectively stinks. LSU's gotten worse by the week. Miss that. Hit a chord, Todd. I'm going to keep it controlling. We're at the end of the hour, so I can't go too crazy here. I've never seen a conference play the hypothetical game more than the SEC. Ole Miss would smoke Indiana based on what? They lost to Kentucky. Kentucky. Indiana's beaten every team they should beat. Ole Miss can't say that. Can't say it at all. When we return, it's a Wednesday. It means it's the top 6 for Wednesday. Ready for this one? Top 6 sports holidays. Spoiler, Super Bowl ain't one. We'll do it next. Ryan Hickey in for JR on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
And welcome on into the Infinity Sports Network. It is the JR Sport Brief Show with Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. Thank you for making us a part of your Wednesday. Fingers crossed if you are in the car traveling. The traffic is not too bad. Tempers in the car are calm. If not, we're going to try to help calm them for you. That's our goal here, to diffuse the situation. Whether it's family members in the car, whether it's drivers outside the car. It's a high tense weekend, right? It's a fun weekend. See family, see friends. Travel sucks. Some conversations are not very pleasant. Maybe some family members in general are not very pleasant. It's a delicate weekend. So we are here to at least try to get this holiday weekend started off in the right way. If you're still working, get you a little bit closer to that weekend as well. If you missed any part of the show so far tonight, you can check out my podcast page, Hick At Nite. Nite spelled N-I-T-E, available wherever you do get your podcasts. Nico's doing a great job producing tonight. That'll be available for you soon. To where if you do have a long ride ahead of you, maybe you just got in the car right now, you want to catch up on the first 2 hours. We talked a lot. Most underrated coach in the NFL. We talked about some teams dead or alive for the college football playoff. We talked a little why you should respect the Dodgers. A lot of fun conversations so far through the first 2 hours. You missed any of it, you want to catch up later on. Hick At Nite podcast, Nite spelled N-I-T-E, available wherever you do get your pods. So, as you are well aware, I'm sure, right? It is Wednesday. Probably feels like Friday, but it is a Wednesday. And even though JR's not here, we keep the show the same as much as we possibly can. Consistency on the JR Sport Brief Show is huge. So even though JR's not here today, we are still doing the top 6 list at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, like we always do each and every Wednesday. And I love what JR does, because JR's a master at this. He makes a top 6 list pretty topical to maybe the biggest news of the day, the biggest news of the week. So I wanted to do the same thing, and I figured, okay, day before Thanksgiving, what can we kind of talk about? What's holiday themed without being too cringe? Because I do think sometimes you get too cringe. So I don't want to do top 6 Thanksgiving foods, especially for me. I'm not a foodie. I will admit that, so I don't think you want food takes from me. I admit my food takes are not very good and piss off a lot of people. So, okay, let's not do that. Let's avoid being cringe. And I thought, popped in my head, of course, where was I when this idea came in my head? The shower. All great ideas come in the shower. And I thought, you know what? This is it. Thanksgiving. It's not only a holiday, right? It's a great sports holiday. 3 NFL games, right? Usually, you get food, family, surrounded, or in the background is usually football. So I thought, okay, Thanksgiving, great sports holiday. What other sports holidays do we have out there? And thus, the list was born. So I'll tell you, we are right now having the top 6 list of the best sports holidays.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time to get JR's latest top 6 list, only on the JR Sport Brief.
It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. All right. Top 6 sports holidays. We start with
number 6.
I'm going to say the Indy 500. The Indy 500 to me is a great day. Number one, I am not a motorized vehicle racing fan. I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I'm not a big IndyCar guy. But this makes the list because there are exceptions. This is one of the few races I will check out each and every year for a few reasons. Number one, it does feel American, right? Indy 500. 500 laps, or 500 miles, around the brickyard. Kissing the bricks, drinking the milk. Always usually, too, on Memorial Day weekend as well. So there's tons of American flags everywhere. It's very patriotic. I think you have to have in order to have a great Memorial Day weekend, have to have a great sporting event. I think the Indy 500 here is one of those great events every single year. It's on the calendar that I will definitely check out. I think you should check out. I want to go to a race I've never been. I love checking it out. I think it looks very cool. So is too on that Sunday, which I think is a lot of fun. It feels patriotic, but it also feels like it's a part of the weekend as well. Let's take a listen to last year's Indy 500. This is courtesy of NBC.
We welcome you to our coverage of the 107th Indianapolis 500 on NBC. The famed pagoda there, all the fans here. Good morning. Mike Tirico, welcome back to Indy. We're standing on a famed yard of bricks outside the pagoda in the plaza where a lot of these folks, estimated 325,000 fans, they've been gathering all morning.
Think about that. 325,000 fans. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's also very cool, by the way, if you've ever seen this. The trophy, the Indy 500 trophy, if you win it, they kind of do like the Stanley Cup where, you get to be literally part of the trophy, but instead of putting your name, they put your face. Your face literally goes on the trophy. It's sick. It's awesome. It's America. I love it. Indy 500, number 6 on the top 6 best sports holidays.
Number 5.
Coming up soon here. I'm looking forward to it. The NHL Winter Classic. New Year's Day, I think they've really done a great job of ingraining themselves as part now of the sports culture. You get the outdoor Winter Classic in a great city, usually NFL stadium, maybe a baseball stadium. The crowd's always juiced up. The stadium is packed. It's a great spectacle. It's a great visual. Even though the NHL started moving outside and doing more outdoor games than just on January 1st, it is not, at least for me, taken away some of the aura and the mystique and the thrill of watching the Winter Classic. I think it's awesome. That's definitely kind of one of those circle the calendar sort of events. When hockey's, at least for me, tough. I'm a big Rangers fan. I love watching them. I try to watch every game I can. I don't watch, though, a ton of hockey outside of the Rangers. The Winter Classic is one of those examples, though, where no matter who's playing, I will watch. Like, still one of the games that just sticks in my mind, non-Rangers, was the game played at the Big House, Michigan. It was awesome. It was so cool. The visual, the snow coming down, the stadium is packed. I think the Winter Classic is definitely one of those sporting events that even non-hockey fans look forward to and watch. It does make my top 6 list here of American sports holidays. Let's take a listen back. 2009 Winter Classic. Wings, Blackhawks. This courtesy again of NBC.
Opening day at Wrigley Field is 103 days away. But on New Year's Day in Chicago, one of American sports' most storied venues is filled to capacity for the NHL's Winter Classic, with the Chicago Blackhawks skating into the friendly and today frozen confines to host the Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings.
Oh, that music gets me juiced. Bum, 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 bum. And also Bob Costas. I love Bob Costas. Stinks that he's retiring. I found his commentary hilarious. I liked his bluntness, dry sense of humor. I know a lot of people did not. I appreciate it. There's Bob Costas, the GOAT there on the intro, courtesy of, again, NBC. Winter Classic to me comes in as the 5th best sports holiday we have in this beautiful country.
Number 4.
In comes Thanksgiving NFL football. We kind of talked about it earlier in the show. Like, The games, for the most part, usually are never great matchups, right? The Lions I'm 30 years old. The Lions, outside of last year, have stunk my entire life. So usually a lot of the Thanksgiving football watching would be the Lions get blown out at home to start the day. The Cowboys, if they're good, they lose a game to a team they shouldn't. If they're bad, they blow out a bad team to kind of hype themselves up. That's usually the playbook. And then at night, honestly, night's always a crapshoot. You're tired, you ate a lot, your stomach is stuffed, you have one eye open, it's 8 o'clock, but it feels like it's like midnight because it's so late and you've been up so early. Maybe you've been drinking all day as well. The night game for me is always kind of like it's there in the background, but I'm not locked in. But still, nonetheless, it's a holiday. It's a great day where everyone centers their day or at least has football on somewhere in the background. It is talked about. The games are being, on. You're going to have your uncle giving some hot takes. Patrick Mahomes, he's not that good. He kind of sucks. The Lions, they stink for a while, how good they really are. There's always some sort of family take about the football. You're like, what is this guy talking about? What? So the games usually never great, but it is a tradition, right? I love the fact that we have the two consistent home teams in Dallas and Detroit. I hope that never changes. I like the tradition of that every single year. And what has helped, I think, make the NFL a large part of Thanksgiving has been some of the announcers, right? Namely, John Madden, who introduced me, I'm sure introduced many, to an invention that no one else really knew existed. That was, of course, their turducken.
Here's how you slice it. See, a lot of people don't know. You have to slice it down the middle. See, and then you slice it across this way. Because what it is, it's a deboned chicken stuffed in a deboned duck, stuffed in a deboned turkey with dressing between the chicken and the duck and the turkey. So as you cut down that way, you go turkey, dressing, duck, dressing, chicken.
The GOAT. John Madden breaking down how to cut a turducken like no one else can. But that's also, at least for me, that is part of the allure of Thursday football. I love the fact that the winning team, no matter what the broadcast crew is, no matter what the game is, there's always waiting for them after the game. Turkey legs. Now, they don't look great, and some of them I think are fake, but they try to bite them anyway. That to me is a great tradition. And football on Thanksgiving, it goes hand in hand, right? You can't have Thanksgiving without football. It is great. It is absolutely, definitely one of the best American sports holidays we have. It does come in at number 4.
Number 3.
This may surprise a lot of people. It's football related. The Super Bowl. I have the Super Bowl number 3 here for a few reasons. Number 1, it's on a Sunday. I think the fact that most people have work hanging over their head the next day takes away from some of the joy. I really do. I hate that. The game starts at 6:30 Eastern. So if you were in the Eastern time zone, Central time zone, the game ends 10 o'clock, 10:30. It's kind of late for a school night, a work night, if you will. I think kind of always having that anxiety and a work hanging over your head of, I can't get too drunk, or, I don't want to stay out too late because I got work the next day. I think, number 1, that takes away a little bit of it. And then number 2, I think there's a little bit less enjoyment and there's less excitement when your team's not in it. Maybe it's just me. But, if the Colts are not in the Super Bowl, I view the Super Bowl differently when the Colts are in it versus when they're not in it. I can be so excited for some matchups, but there are plenty of, not plenty, but there are definitely some matchups where it's oh, this again, or oh, great, I'll watch, but is it really the sexiest matchup, or this team has no chance, it's going to be a blowout city? I think there are some circumstances that can lead to the Super Bowl not being the greatest day on this planet. Those two, again, it's a great day. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to try to sit here and tell you the Super Bowl is overrated. Listen, I love hot takes. That is not one of them that I'll give to you. Food is usually great. Friends are always, fun to have around. It's a nice excuse, right, to hang out with friends that maybe otherwise on a Sunday you wouldn't. Again, work's still hanging over you. It stinks. And here's another thing, too, that I'll bring up that has gone south recently. The commercials stink. The commercials stink. They used to be funny back when, not trying to have a funny commercial was the way to go. And then all of a sudden, once people started realizing, oh, wow, the Super Bowl, they actually have really good commercials and they're funny. Then all of a sudden, people started trying making funny commercials. Now they're not funny. Now they're cringe. Now they're stupid. Now everyone's trying to make it about them. Relax. Commercials have gone downhill. Sunday hanging over the head, not great. Again, still a really good sports holiday, but it's not number one. It's not number two, in part because those factors I just listed. Let's go back. NBC again. Again, a lot of love here on this top 6 list. Little Super Bowl 56 intro. Rams, Bengals.
From Halley in Hollywood to SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. That was the virtual Lombardi Trophy outside. The real deal inside. Who claims it tonight? A look into the locker room of the Los Angeles Rams, the NFC champions. And across the way, the AFC champion, Cincinnati Bengals, ready to tee it up in Super Bowl 56.
NBC does have, non-related, some of the best theme music. Oh, it is so great. But so far, this is Ryan Hickey in for JR. We're doing the top 6 list, top 6 sports holidays. Indy 500 at 6. Winter Classic for the NHL at 5. Thanksgiving NFL football 4. Super Bowl 3. Let's get to
number 2.
Labor Day college football. It is, for me, one of the highlight weekends of the year. Think about what you have on Labor Day weekend. You have a holiday weekend in the summer, so it's nice out. You could be at the beach. The weather's great. It's the one last hurrah. And then you have, on top of that, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, college football returning. Some of the best games of the year. Week number 1, the Sunday standalone, the Monday standalone. It's a great welcome back to football. I love college football, so it's one of the days I'm excited for the most. We got some really interesting matchups this past year where you had Miami, Florida, great matchup. Penn State, West Virginia was a highly anticipated game. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, USC, LSU. Like, you had some really great college football games. Mix that in with some great weather. Mix that in with a holiday weekend. I can't find, honestly, few better sports holidays than that first weekend of college football over Labor Day weekend. It is the one I look forward to. It honestly, because summer's my favorite holiday. Summer's my favorite time of the year. I love it, especially here living in New York. You know, we don't get nice weather all the time. So really get 2-3 months to go to the beach and enjoy it. I love the beach. So I never want to see summer go. I would try to hold on to it as long as I can. Labor Day weekend and college football specifically, it's the only thing that allows me, it's okay to let go of a summer. I'm not going to be too depressed because the college football season is here. Oh, it gets me so fired up, so excited. Let's go back to just a few weeks ago, USC, LSU opening the season on Sunday in Vegas. This courtesy of ESPN.
Welcome to the Modelo Vegas Kickoff Classic for what is now an SEC Big Ten showdown as the Trojans make their debut as members of the Big Ten. What a night we have in store. Can't wait to get this one kicked off.
Reese, you can't wait to get it kicked off. I can't wait to watch it. It is easily the most underrated weekend in the sporting calendar, without a doubt. Wall-to-wall college football, great matchups, great excitement, a lot of energy, positivity in the air. People think this could be the year, a lot of overreactions. I love it. That comes in number 2 on my list of the top 6 sports holidays we have in this beautiful country. As a recap, Indy 500 comes in at number 6. NHL Winter Classic comes in number 5. Thanksgiving NFL football at 4. Super Bowl 3. Labor Day college football. The number 2 sports holiday we have. So you might be asking yourself, what the hell, Ryan, is number 1? I'll tell you after this commercial break. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. But before that, I got to remind you that sports fans, you better listen. One of the men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, and by the way, almost ending. I think November or December 1st is Sunday, so till Sunday, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 40 cents for every purchase of shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at depend.com.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
You're in a 4.5-minute break. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
come, but they never wanna leave.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Your show is informative and thought-provoking, and I love that about it. I listen every chance I get, man. Keep it up. It's one of the best shows anywhere.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It is Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network in for JR, of course, on the JR Sport Brief Show. Thank you for making us a part of your Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. It is the JR Sport Brief Show with me, which means at this time every single week we do the top 6 list. This week's list, top 6 sports holidays. Doesn't have to be an actual holiday, right? But there are events that happen every year that are, fans circle on the calendar, get excited for. I'm counting that as a sports holiday. And I have given you so far 6 through 2. In case you missed it, to recap really fast here, Indy 500, I have a number 6. NHL Winter Classic comes in number 5. Thanksgiving NFL football comes in at 4. Super Bowl comes in at 3. Labor Day college football comes in at number 2. So I know you're all waiting with bated breath. Ryan, if the Super Bowl, college football, Thanksgiving is not your number 1 sports holiday, what is? Well, it is
number 1.
MLB opening day. There is, to me, nothing better. No more excitement. No more, it's here. No more like, there's not a day that for me goes by where I'm just more fired up for MLB opening day. As a Mets fan, I don't care if this team's projected to lose 100 games. I still get excited. I still look forward to it. It feels big. It feels special. It truly feels like a national holiday when baseball is back and everyone's playing and you have games all throughout the day. Some in northern climates like Detroit or Minneapolis, you maybe got some snow, cold weather. I just love MLB opening day. To me, it's the best. It's say what you're talking about baseball. Sport is dying. Not many people are interested anymore. The fans don't care. Season's too long. Sport's too slow. The owners don't care. The commissioner sucks. All valid, all true, all fair. But there's still, despite all of that, once the calendar, it happens early in April. I was going to say flips to April. Forget that. Now it's like end of March. Once that day does come through, whether it's on a Monday or a Thursday, and you see MLB baseball is back, that, to me, hits more than any other day we've talked about hitting. I love baseball opening day. Let's go to ESPN a few weeks, 0 for 2. Let's try to make it a third time the charm here. A few years ago, ESPN's Braves Reds opening day intro.
Welcome to opening night baseball on ESPN. The great Hall of Famer Tim Kirkshin welcoming us back. And we will look forward to having Tim on our telecast this evening as we get set for the Cincinnati Reds and the new look Atlanta Braves. And the newest look right there, Matt Olson comes over from Oakland, and he will play first base.
I think it also helps, too, that spring training's so long. Like, there's excitement in February. Oh, pitchers and catchers are reporting. And then spring training's like 6 weeks. It's long. All of February, all of March, they're playing spring training games. Guys are pitching 2 innings, getting 2 at-bats. It feels like it's like monotonous. And then all of a sudden, boom, opening day is here. For me, opening day, the best sports holiday we have in this beautiful country. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. It's Ryan Hickey in for JR with Thanksgiving being tomorrow and football, right, being a big part of Thanksgiving. The top 6 list we are doing this evening is a top 6 sports holidays. Indy 500 comes in at 6. NHL Winter Classic comes in at number 5. Thanksgiving NFL football comes in at 4. Super Bowl 3. Labor Day college football comes in at number 2. And opening day for baseball is number 1. If there was a holiday, a sports holiday you think egregiously has been left off and deserves to be in the top 6, 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me on Twitter, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. And you can also write in our Infinity Sports Network YouTube chat, which you can find right there. Infinity Sports Network, we're streaming right there on the tube. watch the show, comment on the show, 241 right there. Billy Wolf does write it on the YouTube chat. Labor Day college football, my number one. Billy, it's great. I love college football. That Labor Day weekend, again, you get the extra Monday off, the holiday weekend added to it. Good weather. Football is back. It is up there. It is up there. Billy then also writes, way to ruin a good moment. I take WrestleMania, pickleball, slow cycling over opening day. I don't even know what slow cycling is, but Billy, you suck. Ack is here getting ready for an update in his big Tulane sweatshirt. Do you have a sports holiday, Ack, that you look forward to, a sports event on the calendar every year that tickles your fancy?
Well, the first thing that comes off the top of your mind is Super Bowl Sunday. But for me, it's still opening day because to me, spring training is like, okay, it's almost getting warmer. We've made it through winter. And opening day comes, and it's like you take a deep breath, and you're like, all is right with the world again.
You know what? That's a great point. I think even strengthens the point of being number one. You are right. Opening day does feel like the unofficial start to spring.
Have you ever been to an opening day game?
I have. Been to a few.
It feels so much different than any other regular season game.
You're into it. I mean, it's funny, too. You see the opening day crowds, right, mostly sold out.
Yep.
Then you go to the second game crowd. And
well, that's why the Mets
there.
The Mets in the 80s had opening day 2, and like the guest of honor was Rodney Dangerfield.
Smart. Whatever it takes, they have fans in the stands.
Yes.
But you are right. It does signify more than just, okay, baseball is back. It does feel like, okay, we were out of the doldrums of winter, even if the weather's not great. And we've seen some opening days in Colorado, in Cleveland, in Detroit, where it's snowing, bad weather, delays, whatever. It's still freezing cold. Still, you feel warmer on that day when baseball is back. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227 is Ryan Hickey in for JR on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll get your thoughts here. Again, the top 6 list of best sports holidays. Indy 500, NHL Winter Classic, Thanksgiving NFL football, Super Bowl, Labor Day college football, and MLB opening day. Is there a sports holiday left off that you believe deserves to be on? 855-212-4227, Ryan_Hickey, and the number 3 on Twitter. We will hear your thoughts. Here are suggestions. We will also, when we return here on the show, give you the 3 most impactful games of the college football weekend that will shake up the college football playoff. We'll get to that after we get this latest sports update from Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network, Sports Flash.
Well, the Hawks went into Cleveland to face the NBA's best team, the Cavaliers, at 7-1, and right now it's Atlanta in front in the third quarter, 76-74. Jalen Johnson with 13 points and 6 rebounds so far for Atlanta. Elsewhere tonight in the third, it's the Heat with a big lead over the Hornets, 66-48. The Trailblazers and Pacers are even at 70. Also third, the Magic crushing the Bulls 85-60, while the Rockets lead the Sixers 68-61. Jalen Green with 27. Also third, Clippers in front of the Wizards 73-57. James Harden with 33 so far. And the Knicks and Mavericks in Dallas, it's Dallas in front big, 46-29. The Pistons lead the Grizzlies after 1, 33-28. Timberwolves in front of the Kings, 25-21. Raptors and Pelicans are even in 18 in the first. College basketball action. Creighton leads Texas A&M in the second half, 61-59. Cincinnati blowing out Alabama State, 67-44. And Arizona in front of Davidson in the first, 25-18. But some of the top teams really struggled today. Indiana was blown out by Louisville, 89-61, while third-ranked Gonzaga fell to West Virginia in overtime, 86-78. Baylor cruised over New Orleans, 91-16. Iowa State down Colorado, 99-71. And it was Tennessee over UT Martin, 78-35, while Auburn improved to 7-0, knocking off Memphis 90-76. In the NHL tonight, second period, the Wild lead the Sabres 1-0. The Blues with a 3-0 lead over the Devils. The Rangers on top of the Hurricanes 3-2. Red Wings 1, Flames 0. Also after 1, Lightning 2, Capitals 0. Panthers lead the Maple Leafs 2-0. And the Bruins on top of the Islanders 2-1. I'm Rich Ackerman.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Hey, what's up, JR? I agree with you. I like your show because I tend to disagree, but tonight I agree.
Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It is Ryan Hickey with you right here on the Infinity Sports Network. 855-212-4227. We were talking the best sports holidays. Right now we have on the calendar 855-212-4227. We'll get your thoughts here in 1 second on those. But I do quickly want to bring attention to the college football slate, the last regular season weekend we have in college football so far. I think we have three massive games that will determine the outlook of the college football playoff. First and foremost, coming in at number 3, Notre Dame at USC. Notre Dame's in a spot where I think if they lose, they're out. They sit right now at 5. You could say, oh, look, if they've beaten 4 teams that were ranked at the time they played them. They're playing well. If they go on the road and lose to USC, I think they're out. I don't think Notre Dame now, with 2 losses, one of them being NIU, has a leg to stand on. I think USC is going to push them, by the way. Notre Dame is a 7.5-point favorite. I think USC is going to push them. They have a lot of talent on the outside. Kyron Hudson is one of their better receivers they have. He's a playmaker. Just throw the ball up. He comes down with it at 80% of the time, it feels like. He's a great contested catcher. Jaden Mayava kind of gives me a little bit of Caleb Williams feel, just how he plays. He's playmaker, loose to the ball, can make plays with his arm and his legs. I think USC pushes Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame kind of runs out of the Coliseum. They win, and they kind of run out of there and say, oh, boy, we dodged a bullet there. I think Notre Dame wins. USC covers the 7.5-point spread. But if Notre Dame loses, I think they're out. That's a big-time game to watch. If you are a Clemson fan, if you are an Alabama fan right now, better have your eyeballs on that 3:30 Eastern on CBS Saturday. Root for the Trojans. Another big game here. Miami at Syracuse. May not be on your radar. It should be. Syracuse can throw the ball, man. Miami and Syracuse are the 2 of the top 3 passing teams in the country. And the one thing Miami has done this year consistently is play close games, play down to their opponent. Syracuse at home, I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I think this is going to be a shootout. Now, I think Miami does escape. I think they do win in part because if you try to beat Miami playing a similar style to Miami, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. You're not winning that battle. Miami's, the games they've played close and the one game they lost are when other teams can run the ball down their throat. Look at Georgia Tech. Look at Virginia Tech. Look at even Cal. I take that back. Cal didn't really run the ball well. Louisville played a close game against Miami, pushed them, lost by 7. Miami, I think, wins this game, but I think it's like 38-35. I think it's a nail-biter. And we talked about earlier in the show, dead or alive, I think Miami is in the college football playoff if they lose in the ACC title game. I think they're out of the playoff if they lose on the road to Syracuse. You have 2 losses against teams in which you should beat, Georgia Tech and Syracuse. I don't think the committee's forgiving them. I don't think they're putting them in. I think right now a 10-2 Miami team, not in the ACC title game, is out of the playoff. I think it's going to be a great back and forth game. I think Miami does again get out and win. And the final one here, the one I'm looking forward to the most, Texas at Texas A&M. The Lone Star Showdown is back in College Station. That place is going to be insane. It is going to be the best atmosphere. If you barely watch college football or you want to only watch the big games, I promise you, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. Free plug for them. Sit down and watch. It is going to be the best atmosphere we have seen in college football all year. 13 long years since these two teams have played, and since Texas made their trip to College Station. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. With that said, Quinn Ewers, receivers that Texas has, I think overpower A&M. Close game again, but I think Texas does win here. Spread is 5.5. I think Texas wins close. A&M covers 31-27. I like the Longhorns to win. Why this game's impactful? Winner goes to the SEC title game. I would say losers out. That's including Texas. If Texas loses to A&M and falls to 10-2 in the year, look at their resume. Where the quality wins. You know, you would have lost your two biggest games you've played in Georgia and A&M. The Georgia game, you got dominated. We'll see how this A&M game plays out. But I don't know you can justify putting Texas in the playoff if they do lose to A&M. It's a real discussion. I think they should be out. And I think it's going to, for me, winner in, or not in per se. Texas wins, they're in. If A&M wins, they still have to win the SEC title game, but they will make the SEC title game if they do beat Texas here. This will be a great game. Lock in, get to a TV, watch it. I promise you will not be disappointed. 855-212-4227. We did talk about the top 6 sports holidays since Thanksgiving, right, is upon us. Number 6 for me, Indy 500. Number 5, NHL Winter Classic. Number 4, Thanksgiving NFL football. 3, Super Bowl. 2, Labor Day college football weekend. Number 1, sports holiday. In your host's humble opinion. That is I, Ryan Hickey, MLB opening day. Who got, or what, I should say, got left off? 855-212-4227. Let's go to Joe calling from Birmingham. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Good, buddy. What's on your mind, man?
Actually, I talked to you about a year ago when you and I argued about Jane Daniels winning the Heisman Trophy.
That's right. I was a Michael Penix guy. Still stand by it, Joe.
Yep. Yeah, well, my man won it. Like I said, it was that 3-game
really
precedent that would happen with Taylor
Are you calling us from a tin can?
Huh?
Do you have the radio on in the background, Joe?
Yeah, let me turn it down.
Thanks, Joe. It sounds like you're talking to us from a tin can.
Got me now?
Thank you, Joe. The audience thanks you as well. All right, what
Ryan,
sports holiday got left off?
Ron.
Oh, my God. Joe!
Can you hear me?
Oh, Joe, we got to go. Joe, you're a nice guy. Try to give you chances. I'm a believer. Nice guys finish first, but when you have the radio on, nice guys finish last. As a reminder, this portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. That is wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Jack is in Michigan, hopefully not talking to us from a tin can. What up, Jack?
Hey, Ryan, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
Oh, I am doing wonderful, my friend. I agree with you as far as Labor Day weekend. College football is one of my favorite, man. It ranks high up there. However, I can't believe you left off the NCAA basketball tournament, man. Oh, man, that tournament breeds stars. I mean, Steph Curry, when he was at Davidson, became a star in that tournament. They almost beat Kansas, I believe, in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, where last-second shot he missed. It was about 50 feet, but they would have beat if he would have won that game. There's a lot of players, just to see that adulation on those kids' face when a number 2 seed beats a number 15 or number 3 beats a 14.
Right.
You know, stuff like that, man. It's so exciting, man, to see those, smaller schools beat the higher seeds. And it's wonderful to experience. You get the first 2 days, 12 o'clock to like 11, almost midnight.
I know.
Nothing but basketball. Love it.
Jack, you're right.
Love it, man.
That's a great one. And the 2 days, especially, like you said, Thursday, Friday, I appreciate the call. They are tremendous. It truly is a lot of fun. I got no justification, honestly, leaving it off. It's great. It's great. It's a great time. Great spend with your buddies. The one thing I will say that I want to do that I haven't yet, I've never actually taken off work to actually go to a bar, go to a friend's house, and just spend all day watching the games. It's been in and out. I've been here at work, watch some at home, watch some during the day. Maybe this is the year. Maybe I'll talk to JR. Maybe we'll do something together here, where it's like you actually take the time off. You go somewhere, you hunker down, you get food, you get drinks, you got the bracket there ready to rip up when it's inevitably done at 12:30 Eastern after your Final Four team is trailing at halftime of the first game. It is a lot of fun. Very unpredictable. A lot of stars are born throughout the tournament. But you're right. Seeing those 15, 14 seeds win, it is unbelievable. Scott's calling from Wisconsin. What's up, Scott?
Good evening. There's two that I think that are really left off. Is one Daytona 500.
I've never been. I got to go check it out, but I figure that's why I've never been to the Indy 500 either, but I've watched more of the Indy 500 in terms of like a racing spectacle. What's the 500 like?
Well, Daytona 500 for NASCAR fans, it's also the anniversary and remembering of Dale Earnhardt when he died in Daytona 500.
Right.
So it plays a big part in all NASCAR fans as far as that. And the second one, I would say, is the first Thursday night game of NFL, the start of the season.
For me, I hear you, Scott. I appreciate the call. I personally get a different feeling watching that Labor Day weekend college football slate versus the NFL. Because it's like, number one, college football is truly the first football games that matter. Right? It's not preseason, not training camp. These games matter. I think it is a bigger to-do than, at least for me, that Thursday night game for the NFL. I'm excited for it. Obviously, I watch it, but I appreciate and revel in the joy more for a college football weekend than I do NFL weekend. That's for sure. Greg is calling from Michigan. What up, Greg?
Our sizzle, Mr. Positive. Hey, great topic tonight. You there?
Oh, I'm here, listening.
Very good, very good. It's got to be the Super Bowl. It's the spectacle. It's the second most popular holiday in the world. 150 million people watch it in America, give or take 1 billion around the world. There's nothing like it, our sizzle. It's just a spectacle, and it is just, don't get me wrong. You're right. Opening day is great. Partying down down at the ballpark, at the bars and all that stuff. But it's at different times and different days. But if you're talking about one thing that just stands out, my friend, it is the Super Bowl. It has to be, my friend. And, hey, real quick, thank you very much for taking my call, number one. Number two, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And as always, go for your dreams. But what say you, our sizzle?
The Warrior has spoken. Greg in Michigan, always good from hearing you, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your Lions tomorrow. Super Bowl on my list was 3. I can't deny the spectacle. It's a great day, right? Everyone gathers around. Even non-football fans watch for different reasons. It's a great, it's a great excuse to get people together. Food's always pretty good. Commercials could be better. But anyway, I digress. The reason why it's not higher for me in number one is, I think it being on a Sunday does take away from it. I think having work hang over your head and always kind of be, in the back of your mind as the night gets later, you're always thinking about, okay, well, Johnny's got to go to school and have this project and I got to get up for work and what meetings do I have? I think the fact that you have the day after the Super Bowl being a work day for everybody takes a little bit away from it. And I think there is a little bit of shine off the Super Bowl when your team's not in it. It's like you're not as excited for Chiefs 49ers if you're not a Chiefs or 49ers fan, right? I'm not saying you don't get excited. Trust me, I'm fired up for those matchups. I love just watching great football. But there are some matchups that are better than others, and it's tough to get excited for some if your team's not in it. I think there's a different level of excitement, which, again, I think kind of hurts and it makes, for me, not number one. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. Billy Wolf does write in our YouTube chat. Again, check us out, Infinity Sports Network YouTube page. Father's Day, U.S. Open. Great suggestion, Billy. Not for me in the top 6, but that is one of those days that is on the calendar we look forward to. Father's Day weekend, right? Spend with the fam. And I always love watching the U.S. Open as well. I'm a big major golf guy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm a diehard, but I lock in all 4 majors throughout the summertime. So I love getting a little Father's Day action here as well to spend some time with the family. Again, have it on in the background. Anything sports-wise you can have on in the background of like a family gathering, family event is great, which is why I do love and why Thanksgiving football is on the list, comes in at number 4. And again, I like the fact that it's You get some okay games, but nothing great because Thanksgiving is a distraction. There's always a lot going on with the food, with the family, catching up, maybe trying to sort out some drama, maybe trying to help clean up, maybe trying to cook. There's a lot that takes you away from the TV. So not having a must-see matchup, I actually prefer and like. So I'm glad we don't have great matchups, but still enough to get you to the TV as well. All right, Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network. When we return, the most underrated coach in the NFL. Tell you who that is. It's Ryan Hickey in for JR on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
And welcome on into the JR Sport Brief Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday, a holiday Wednesday, a traffic-filled Wednesday. I hope the ride so far is good. I was going to use smooth, but I don't steal JR's word. That's his, and I'm not smooth enough to say smooth. So hopefully the traffic ride so far is easy. It's not too stressful. And if it is, well, thank you for joining us here on the Infinity Sports Network. We're going to try to make that drive a little bit easier, a little bit more enjoyable for you as you do roll on to wherever your destination is. And obviously, we hope you get there safe and sound. It is a great time to be thankful, right? Around this time, Thanksgiving, good time to be heartfelt. I think if you are a fan of the Minnesota Vikings, you should be very thankful for your head coach in Kevin O'Connell, because he, to me, is the most underrated coach in all of the NFL. I think he truly is one of the best coaches in the league. He just does not get the credit for it. And I think that was a light was shined on that earlier today, we got the news of Daniel Jones deciding to choose to sign with the Vikings as his next team here for the rest of the 2024 season. And I think why that proves that Kevin O'Connell is a great coach is this. Daniel Jones needs a makeover, right? Like he needs a lot of help. Guy needs to improve his mechanics, learn how to read a field, stay healthy, make better decisions, not turn the ball over. Right? No different than maybe us around this time of the year. When you're seeing friends and family members you haven't seen in a while, and maybe you want to impress. So what do you do the last few weeks? You get into shape. You go to the gym. Maybe you update your wardrobe. Maybe get a haircut, shave the beard. Maybe grow out a beard. Hide your face. I do it. Whatever it takes, right? Maybe you're trying to impress friends and family, and so you undergo some sort of makeover to look good. Daniel Jones needs a similar makeover done so he can look good to teams when he becomes a free agent after the season is over. And to the man he decided to trust the most for that makeover, the man he thought could make him the belle of the ball, somewhat, still Daniel Jones, but still put the most lipstick you can on a pig, he trusted Kevin O'Connell to do that. That should speak volumes to the coaching ability of KOC. Because Jones had options, right? Forget what you think of him as a quarterback. And I'm not a Daniel Jones guy at all. At all. A lot of the issues he had in his rookie year, he's still making now in year number 6. He's not grown. He's not developed. He's not learned. He is who he is at this point. But he had options. The 49ers were interested. Other teams are interested. He could have gone almost anywhere. For his talent and the price tag being so low, it's really a low-risk, high-reward situation. But Jones decided, you know what? I'm going to entrust Kevin O'Connell. I think he could put me in the best position to look attractive to teams this offseason. That should speak volumes to how good of a coach O'Connell is. Jones sees it. He's well-respected around the league. I don't think he's respected enough nationally from media and fans. And I think you're starting to see that now come in. He's the most underrated coach because one of the things he does better than almost any coach in the NFL is he makes quarterbacks work. You throw him any quarterback, he finds a way to win. I mean, hell, look at this year. Sam Darnold. His career was written off. Sam Darnold was 6 feet under a dirt thrown on him. His career was DEAD, dead. He goes to Minnesota. All of a sudden, look at any stat you want, quarterback-wise. Sam Darnold is top 10 in the league. Passing yards, touchdown, completion percentage, passer rating. There's Sam Darnold in the top 10 of all quarterbacks in the league. And now Minnesota is 9-2 this season with a castaway that everyone thought couldn't play. O'Connell did that, but it's not just a one-year wonder. He did it with Kirk Cousins as well. Who, look, right, Kirk had a successful career. He's put up a lot of big numbers. But in the year and a half he was with Kevin O'Connell, Kirk had a really good 2022, and then in 2023 was on track to set or match a lot of career highs in yards, touchdowns, passer rating. But he got hurt, right? He popped his Achilles, unfortunately, so his season was cut halfway done. He was on track to have the best year of his career statistically. That happened, not a coincidence, under Kevin O'Connell. And then even in his absence, Minnesota last year was still in the playoff race for most of the season. Kind of bottom fell towards the end, but most of the season, despite having guys like Nick Mullins, Joshua Dobbs, and Jaron Hall start games for the Vikings. This guy can win with anybody. It's impressive. And that to me is the mark of a good coach. Right? It doesn't matter how great you are when you have great talent. It's, hey, how can you make everyone around you better? We talk about that with the quarterback as well. Head coach and quarterback, I think, are the two, where part of judging how great they are is how great they make those around them. You know, can you take a subpar player, turn him from a C- into a B+? Can you take an A quarterback, make him an A+? A B- quarterback, make him an A? Great coaches are able to do that with almost anybody. O'Connell has done that right now with everyone he's coached. He's made them better. He's gotten the most out of them. That is something only very few coaches can say. Like when people talk about, I want the next McVay, that is partly what they're talking about, right? Like they want a coach who can come in and build a system and develop a quarterback to where no matter who is under center, you feel like you have a chance. Andy Reid does that. Sean McVay does that. Kyle Shanahan does that. Well, Kevin O'Connell does that as well. Those other 3 or 4 coaches get a lot of praise. KOC should be right in that conversation. He does that as good or better than almost every coach in the league. He is great, and I think he deserves more credit for it. And I think Daniel Jones choosing the Vikings over the 49ers amongst other teams highlights how good of a coach O'Connell is. I think he's on the come up. Again, he right now doesn't have the rings of an Andy Reid, doesn't have the singular ring of a Sean McVay, doesn't have the Super Bowl appearances that Kyle Shanahan does. But I think it's coming. I think he's on the ascent here. And I think he's going to win, whether it's with Darnold, whether it's with J.J. McCarthy, whether it's with any quarterback. I think he's going to continue to win at a very high level. And I think that success when it comes to Super Bowl appearances and rings is coming quickly here for O'Connell in Minnesota. And that's why, like, when you kind of look at, all right, Ryan, well, let's put your money where your mouth is. How good of a coach is Kevin O'Connell? How many coaches, if I had a team right now that needed a coach, how many coaches am I taking over KOC? The list is very short. I would say right now, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. That's it. If I had a team and I needed a coach tomorrow, those are the only 3 guys I'm taking before I say Kevin O'Connell's name. That's how much I believe in him. That's how much I believe in his ability to coach and continue to be creative and put guys in positions to succeed. He is one of the best, truly one of the best coaches out there. I just don't think he gets the recognition for it. Hopefully this move by Daniel Jones, forget about what you think about Daniel Jones. This is not about Jones himself. This is about Jones signaling maybe to those who don't realize it that, holy crap, this Kevin O'Connell guy, this guy can coach. This is no fluke. This 9-2 season with Sam Darnold. This is legit. This is a great coach doing what great coaches do. getting the most out of their talent and putting their players in positions to succeed. It's not an accident. Sam Darnold is succeeding. Sam Darnold has talent. He wasn't talentless with the Jets. He didn't forget how to play quarterback with the Panthers. The reason why he didn't have success there in part was because the coaches didn't do a good job of giving him a chance to succeed. Kevin O'Connell has done that. Speaking of KOC, he did talk today about Daniel Jones, and he talked about his excitement of working with now his new signal caller.
Really like the person, the human being, the makeup, and then the player, Daniel Jones. I think there's so much out in front of him that are going to be really good things that we get to personally be a part of, and I can't wait to work with him.
Now, look, Daniel Jones is not going to play. I don't anticipate Sam Darnold of getting hurt, and Jones is signed to the practice squad. So this is not like, a redemption story for Jones here. He is going just to learn. He is going to try to rebuild his image. Kind of trying to do what Mitch Trubisky did a few years ago after Mitch Trubisky got bounced from Chicago. He went to go back up Josh Allen. Tried to, build some good equity around the league. Learn some good habits from Josh. And before the Steelers were stupid enough to give him a second opportunity, you saw how that worked out. I don't think Jones will find success in the NFL again. But I think, again, more it's telling he believes Kevin O'Connell, he trusts Kevin O'Connell to basically save his career, turn it around. That's powerful. And that should speak to you. If you don't believe Kevin O'Connell is a good coach, top 5 coach, top 10 coach, that should highlight right there why you should start believing this guy's one of the best coaches in the NFL. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. When you look at Kevin O'Connell, do you think there's another coach in the NFL, somebody else in his realm, great coach, but does not get the shine they deserve? Overlooked, disrespected. Is there a coach right now that you think does not get the amount of shine they should? 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. You can also tweet me, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. Also, you can check us out on YouTube. Infinity Sports Network is our YouTube page. Watch the show there. Comment there as well. Which coach in the NFL is the most overlooked in the league? 855-212-4227. We are also taking your calls. We did a top 6 list earlier in the show. Best sports holidays. Desmond is calling from Chicago. What's up, Desmond?
Hey, Ryan. Thanks for taking my call.
What's up, man?
You got a couple of things really good in your list. I think opening day for Major League Baseball should be a national holiday. And then the Indy 500, that day you also get the NASCAR race at night, the Coke 600. So that's a twofer on that day. But Labor Day weekend for college football, I don't think is even in the top 2 for college football standalone days. I think this weekend coming up, rivalry weekend, tops that. And then I don't know how you leave out New Year's Day. With all the bowl games, you're sitting on your couch hungover, you order DoorDash twice, and you get to watch college football all day.
You're right. New Year's Day is fun. What I'm glad they don't do, Desmond, for the most part, I think they're doing it again this year. I think one game. I hate the New Year's Eve game. You've had the schedule where they've had the playoff games on New Year's Eve. That sucks. New Year's Day is a college football day. I'd agree with you. I appreciate the call. Rivalry weekend is great in college football. But the reason why for me is not on top of the list or doesn't crack the top 6 is in part because it is dependent on how teams play. For example, Ohio State, Michigan. In years past, a top 5 matchup. Great. This year's same amount of buzz? No. I mean, Nico, you're a Michigan fan. Let me ask you this, Nico. What is your excitement level? How much are you looking forward to watching your Wolverines take on Ohio State on Saturday?
So this might sound weird, but I'm actually very excited, not for the reason of the idea that I think Michigan's going to win, because I don't think that they're going to. And like I told you before the show, I say that now, and then at 11:55 Eastern time on Saturday, I'm going to think differently.
I'm guilty of it as well.
Right. But I'm just excited for it for the sake of being able to watch a Michigan game that's actually important, because the last 7 weeks have been games where it's like, oh, I know they're not making the playoffs. This game's kind of useless. So for the sake of that, I would say I'm very excited. And the reason why it's important is because the rivalry is so big. Like,
right.
Michigan could win on Saturday, and it completely makes up for the last 9 weeks, in my eyes at least.
No, I agree with that. I think this is Michigan's Super Bowl, no doubt about it. If you can just throw another dagger into Ryan Day and Ohio State, absolutely. Again, you're 6-5. Sitting here at 7-5, it's not a success at all. But I would agree it does help wipe away a lot of the bad taste in your mouth. Rivalry weekend is fun. I just think sometimes with some of the matchups, they're a little sometimes matchup dependent, where if you have a lopsided rivalry, I know the Iron Bowl last year was a great game and no one saw Auburn competing. You needed the 4th and 30 conversion. It was great. We've also seen plenty of Iron Bowls here where Auburn's not competitive and all the juice goes out of the window 5 minutes into the game and Alabama just steamrolls them. That's why, at least for me, Desmond, rivalry weekend is not higher on the list. Williams calling from South Carolina. What's up, Will?
What's up, Flying Ryan? How's it going?
What up, Willie? How we doing, man?
You got it. Happy holidays, man. How's it going?
Likewise. We are chilling. What's on your mind?
Hey, well, I was listening to your topic of conversation about the holiday weekend. I started to think about Super Wild Card Weekend because, you go to the sports bars around the country and the place is loaded to see if their teams are going to get to the Super Bowl. But I think the Super Bowl, it should be number one on the list is because, when your favorite team is in there, you're just a casual fan, you're going to watch a good game. And these past couple of years, we've seen some pretty good games.
We have.
You also mentioned something about the rivalry week. I like the idea of rivalry week, but the thing is, I think it's lost some of its luster because when you look at what used to be a big weekend, a rivalry weekend, you wait the Gamecocks, Clemson, Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Alabama, Florida State. I think that's lost its luster because of the change in climate in college football, with all the super conferences nowadays. So I have to put Super Bowl ahead of rivalry week.
I appreciate the call, Willie. I would disagree vehemently. I don't think any of these games have lost juice. Nico just told you he's looking forward to Michigan, Ohio State, despite Michigan right now being 6-5. I think, if anything, like these conference changes almost enhance some of the charge up here. I mean, Clemson, South Carolina is going to be a great game on Saturday. There's a lot of people on both sides very excited for it. Georgia Tech, even though Tech's not really been competitive, there is palpable buzz where it does. If you feel like the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of right now running, and some may say ruining college football, well, then this is your opportunity to get some revenge back. Oh, you went to the Big Bad Conference and we could still beat you. I think, if anything, it does add juice. And I will say, look, I don't love all the conference realignment. I personally kind of like more regional conferences in college football. With that said, conference realignment, we lost a few rivalries. We also gained a few rivalries back, including Texas A&M. That is one of the best rivalries in all of college football. The fact that it was away for 13 years is criminal. Criminal. There are a few games that absolutely should be back on the schedule every single year, no matter where the teams are playing conference-wise. And so, to me, it's ridiculous that, for example, Pitt and West Virginia don't play every year. The backyard brawl, they're separated by 45 miles. They hate each other. It's a great rivalry no matter what the team's records are. That should be a rivalry played every single year. I don't care that West Virginia's in the Big 12 and Pitt's in the ACC. That should be saved. Oklahoma State, Bedlam should be saved. There should be certain rivalries here, no matter what your conference affiliation is, that should not go by the wayside. And so while it is frustrating to see some lost, we also did gain some back. And I think that is, again, a win, and you'll see it's a big win here, 7:30 Eastern on Saturday in College Station. That place, Kyle Field, is going to be jumping. 855-212-4227. 855-212-4227. Is there a coach more disrespected in the NFL than Kevin O'Connell? We'll hear your thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings head coach and coaches around the NFL. Speaking of disrespect, the most ridiculous thing you will hear this Thanksgiving weekend. It's not about politics. It's not about race. It's not about gender. I'll tell you what it is when we do return. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
First off, I just want to say I absolutely love your show. It's awesome.
and I think you're doing great, and I really appreciate everything that you do.
JR wants to hear from you. Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It's Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. Nice choice by Nico. A little jump around here. For those listening in Wisconsin, for those Badger fans listening right now, you know what I'm about to say. Saturday against Minnesota, must win. Gotta have it. If you're Luke Fickell, you cannot end this season at 5-7, lose out on your first bowl game in 22 years, and suffer your first losing season in that same time frame, right? 22 years, right? You can't do it. And there's a lot of pressure right now on Luke Fickell here in year number 2 to get the program going forward. You fired your offensive coordinator in Phil Longo. The offense stinks. I think there will be brighter days ahead in Madison. I do trust Luke Fickell. I think he's got a plan. I think he's a builder. I think there are roots being planted. With that said, though, we have seen less patience than ever in all sports. He's not on the hot seat. He's not getting fired if they lose to Minnesota and go 5-7 on the season. But boy, do you lose a lot of wind out of the sails going into year number 3. There's a lot of questions Luke Fickell has to answer. And I think if you lose on Saturday, it's only going to make year 3 that much more important. And I think even strengthen the microscope on you. Does that make sense, right? Kind of like zoom in even more? I hope I kind of said that correctly. But you get my point. I think it just puts the magnifying glass. I was just going to make the same point again. I don't know why I did it. Forget me. I'm just out here talking, struggling to put words together. Don't mind me. You get my point. Luke Fickell and Wisconsin lose on Saturday. Puts a lot more pressure on the Badgers head coach going into year number 3. Simple. It's Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. Drive safe if you are driving. Thank you for choosing us to be part of your drive here. Fingers crossed, traffic's not too bad. If it is, there's idiots on the road everywhere. So I'm sure you've run into at least one or two. Remember, it's not worth it. You want to honk? Fine. Again, don't get mad. Don't slam the steering wheel. Don't get out of the car, please. Do not be in one of those videos here, road raging. It ain't worth it, all right? It's not worth it. The 30 seconds of anger will pass, and you'll be very grateful that you just let him go and just went about your day. Don't let him or her ruin your day, ruin your weekend by having you do something stupid because they're just a bad driver. We all deal with it, move on, and get to your destination safely here. We do wish that the best of luck as you do get on the roads to go to wherever you want to go for this holiday weekend. All right, so this holiday weekend is also very interesting, right? Thanksgiving is usually a time, for whatever reason, more than Christmas, more than a birthday, more than New Year's, for whatever reason, Thanksgiving is always the holiday where friends and family want to discuss, you know what? Let's get some edgy topics. Let's talk politics. Let's talk beliefs. Let's talk gender. Let's just give all the takes we have out here on the Thanksgiving table. There's a lot of uncomfortable conversations there and a lot of ridiculous things you will hear in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. I promise you, though, you will not hear anything more ridiculous than Kyle Shanahan being on the hot seat. That is a quote-unquote rumor around town. That's what people on social media are talking about and gossiping about, that the 49ers head coach is on the hot seat. This is hogwash. This is not true. Let me just first and foremost say that. I'm not going to get worked up and I'm not going to make the case as to why Kyle Shanahan shouldn't be fired. The guy's been to 2 Super Bowls and 4 NFC title games in the last 5 years. Outside of Andy Reid, name another coach that's done that. You can't. So he's not getting fired. And it's not worth wasting air arguing for why Kyle Shanahan shouldn't be fired. What I want to instead use air on is discussing and really using this rumor, because that's essentially what it is, to highlight the ease that misinformation spreads with. And now on social media, it is so much easier to peddle fake news and trick people than it is to spread verified information. Because I'm sure if you heard, right, either the report or someone talking about Kyle Shanahan and the hot seat, it came from somewhere. And so I decided before the show today, you know what? People are talking about it. Hell, Kyle Shanahan and Deebo Samuel were asked about it this week on Deebo's podcast and in Shanahan's press conference. So, like, people have heard this rumor, have seen it, have discussed it. So I said, where is this coming from? Well, like, so at least I can reference it myself. Oh, this respected NFL reporter or this podcast or this NFL anonymous source said this. I was looking for something, anybody, to at least put some sort of name as to where this hot seat idea was coming from. And you know what I found? Nothing. Nothing. No report, no anonymous source, no NFL reporter, no speculation. I could not find anything about Kyle Shanahan being on the hot seat outside of one graphic from Bleacher Report, who had a picture of Kyle Shanahan with the words underneath, hot seat. That's it. They didn't cite any source. They didn't have an article about it. They didn't have a podcast about it. It was probably some 23-year-old, fresh out of college, social media intern. I thought, let's just drum up some entertainment here. Let's drum up some of the Twitter bots. Let's just put out Kyle Shanahan hot seat, see what happens. And to their credit, it worked. A lot of people have talked about it. Again, it got to the point where Deebo Samuel's asked about it on his own podcast. Enough people have talked about it and picked it up, but it just highlights how ridiculous and how easy misinformation can spread. There's no report about it. He's not on the hot. I can promise you he's not on the hot seat. And it is frustrating in part just because of this is something so stupid that came out of nowhere. And yet now it's like a quote unquote real thing. So if you've heard about it, if you've seen other people talk about it, just know it came from nowhere. It came from one Bleacher Report graphic with no factual reporting behind it, no article behind it, no explanation behind it, just the graphic. It is, I really hate to use this term, but I will here. It is fake news. Kyle Shanahan, not on the hot seat, not in danger of getting fired. He's not coaching for his job. I don't care if the 49ers lose every game the rest of the way. There is 0.00000% chance Kyle Shanahan is fired at any point this season. He'll be week 1 on the sidelines. I promise you that for the 49ers. 855-212-4227. Let's go to John calling from Knoxville. What's up, John?
Hey, Hickey, how you doing?
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
Hey, just got me thinking about old rivalries, and a lot of it was to do with the coaches, I think, back in the day, too, that were always mainstays for, decades. Boeheim and Thompson, Georgetown and Syracuse,
Right.
Then you had, in football, we had Paterno. Everybody hated Paterno if he lived in Syracuse. And we had Coach McPherson against him. And we lost those rivalries when Syracuse went to the ACC. And it was a darn shame, man. We should have still been playing those games. There's no just because they jumped conferences. So I like that point you made that I believe that they should keep rivalries. And I don't know why they would let them die like that. It's a sad thing, man.
John, I could not agree more, man. Thank you for the call. It's very frustrating. That's one of the sad, frustrating parts about college football is people are now chasing the money. I can't blame them. Again, it's right now it's either adapt or die. And right now the adaptation is go to one of the 2 big conferences to get the most amount of TV money so you can, improve your resources, pay your head coach the most amount of money, pay your players the most amount of money, and try to compete that way. That's the name of the game. Either you do it or get left behind. There's no fan's going to say, unless you're Dabo Swinney. No one's going to say, I'd rather, lose games with players not getting paid than pay them and win games, right? And that's the unfortunate world we're in. And one of the side effects, I think it's good. Again, players deserve to get paid. I'm all for it. I've been banging on the drum. The fact that players have not been getting paid for all this time and they're trying to be now vilified is ridiculous. I am 1,000,000% pro player. The only downside is, again, with this conference moves and changes, we've seen some good rivalries go away. I would agree, John. I don't care that, some teams move from the ACC to the Big Ten or go from the Big 12 to the SEC. These rivalries should stay. For the fans, for the history, for the goodness of the sport, they should stay. And I think it's inexcusable for some of them just to leave and go by the wayside. 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on this Wednesday. We'll get your thoughts. I want to get back to the conversation of the most disrespected NFL coach right now in the league? I think it's Kevin O'Connell. If you think it's somebody else, 855-212-4227, 855-212-4227. Also get me on social media, Ryan_Hickey, and the number 3. We'll also discuss, when we do return outside of getting your thoughts, why the Thanksgiving slate of games, you look at it, stinky, right? Not very good. That's actually a good thing. I'll tell you why after we get this latest sports update from Anthony Pierno.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, Ryan, things have not gone according to plan for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets this season. However, despite the struggles, the 4-time MVP said on Wednesday that he won't continue to play just to end his career on a positive note.
Not worried about that at all. I think part of the process of losing self-importance is dealing with the ups and downs and the in-betweens, and I'm not attached to that at all. If this is it, and it could be, nothing but gratitude for this time, for my career, for the men and women I've been around during my 20 years.
Elsewhere, Drew Lock now in line to start for the Giants tomorrow when they meet the Cowboys, and former Giants QB Daniel Jones has found his new home, signing on with the Minnesota Vikings for the remainder of the season. Taking a look at the NBA scoreboard tonight, right now in overtime, the 76ers leading the Rockets 111-110. The Mavericks all over the Knicks 99-76 early on the fourth quarter. Meantime, the Grizzlies with an 89-64 lead over the Pistons in the third. Also in the third, it's the Kings over the Timberwolves 71-64. Late second quarter, the Lakers with a 10-point lead over the Spurs, 55-45. The Nuggets trailing 33-32 against the Jazz. Late in the first quarter, Nikola Jokic with 19 first-quarter points. Finals, the Cavaliers suffer their second defeat of the season, falling to the Hawks 135-124, and the Clippers over the Wizards 121-96, 43 points for James Harden. Men's college hoops, West Virginia upset Gonzaga 86-78. I'm Tony Pierno.
The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. All you have to say is, play Infinity Sports Network. That's it. Play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Oh, JR, you always be saying keeping it moving, so I'm going to let you know something you're not aware of, man. The energy you bring to your show, bro, you always sound like you're ready to return a kick, man. Is there any truth in that?
Well, listen, I'm quite the athlete. I could bust some ass out.
JR wants to hear from you. Call him now at 855-212-4227.
It's Ryan Hickey in for JR on this Wednesday. JR's not kidding, by the way. JR could absolutely kick some ass. He'd kick my ass easily. I am taller than JR. Not by much. Taller. He would beat me up easily. So if you ever want to come after JR, bad idea. You want to come after me? Probably the smarter idea. Not exactly the face, and as you can hear, the voice of intimidation. So you have a much better chance of knocking me out than JR. That is for sure here. Speaking of knocking out, 855-212-4227. My friends are cracking me up here. We have a fantasy football group chat, like I'm sure like most people do. But in our league, this is a unique rule. If a player you start gets 0 or negative points, you have to chug a Smirnoff Ice. And we've had a lot of 0-point performances so far this season. Most recently, Quentin Johnston. Very popular. Everyone saw all the drops he had on Monday Night Football. That was a very popular 0 goose egg for, I'm sure, a lot of you if you have him on your fantasy team. But at least you don't have to chug an ice, right, for Quentin Johnston and all his drops. Well, the ices have been getting put off by, let's say, a lot of people in the group. People are not as quick to chug as soon as really their player hits 0. We have 2 guys in our league that don't drink. So they have instead been forced to chug sodas. One guy in our league, new guy, never met him. He's a friend of a friend into the league this year. He ordered himself, like, I respect the dedication, didn't have soda in his house, ordered like a Fanta on like Uber Eats, got it to his house, and was set, like, one of the rules is, hey, not only got to chug it, you got to do it on video, right? We want to see it, we want to enjoy your pleasure, but also make sure that you just didn't open it, pour it down the drain and say, hey, guys, I drank it. So we need video evidence. So the guy just sent us a picture in our group chat, and it's a picture just like him. It's like, this is kind of weird. Like he just sent a picture of, like, literally, like, you know, a selfie of him looking at the camera, and he goes, yeah, I thought I was taking a video. I just realized it was a photo. And then showed us, like, the empty bottle of Fanta that he had. Look, I'm a nice guy. I'd let it go. A lot of my friends aren't. So what do they say? Do it again. This poor guy now has to chug another soda. At some point tonight, he did it about an hour ago. He goes, I need a break here. I think he's like taking a shower, regrouping before chugging another soda, which is not, I can't imagine being pleasant at all. Poor guy. That's rough. Chugging an ice or a soda is tough. Having to do it again because of your bad video skills. Hell of a way to start the Thanksgiving weekend. That is for sure. Ryan Hickey in for JR, 855-212-4227. Brent is calling from Green Bay. What up, Brent?
Hey, Hickey.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, so you had on there about the most disrespected coaches, and I got to say, it is Matt LaFleur here in Green Bay. You know, he takes over after the Mike McCarthy disastrous era finally came to an end.
Right.
And what does he do? He goes 13-3 for 3 straight years. Oh, no, but that was Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, well, the bloom is off that rose, apparently. I think you're all starting to see what we saw. But then he gets Jordan Love. Well, we'll see what does with Jordan Love. Well, let's see. Midway through the year, he gets Jordan Love playing better.
Yep. Gets
to the divisional round, dang near beats San Francisco. And then this year, Jordan Love is hurt. Who'd they get? They have they traded a 7th-round pick from Malik Willis, who's now 3-0 this year in Green Bay. I mean, obviously, short of winning a Super Bowl, what does Matt LaFleur have to do for people to finally get the shine that he deserves? Hey, you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Guillermo, good to hear your voice back there.
I'll pass the message along. He's left the room, Brent. I'll pass that along to AP as well, who's now on updates the rest of the evening for those Anthony Pierno fans out there. I agree with you, Brent. Now, I think for my money, Kevin O'Connell's a better coach than Matt LaFleur. But in terms of disrespect, in terms of proving it, I think you're spot on. I was one of those people that doubted Matt LaFleur, that said it was all Rodgers, that LaFleur's just along for the ride. And I remember when he left, I'm like, oh, boy, this is when LaFleur's going to get exposed. And then you saw in that first half of the year, oh, boy, wasn't wrong. Now looking good. To his credit, starting this weekend last year, that game in Detroit on Thanksgiving where Jordan Love busted out, played really well, and put together a great finish to the season, and obviously played well in the postseason as well, and then carrying that over so far this year, Matt LaFleur, I would agree, Brent, has proven it, and he definitely deserves a lot of respect. I think, again, O'Connell, to me, is more disrespected and a better coach, but I think LaFleur is rapidly rising up those rankings of head coaches, clearly in the top 10. He's angling now in towards the top 5. 855-212-4227. As a reminder, think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So, one thing I want to mention here quickly is the Thanksgiving games stink, right? Bears, Lions. Bears right now are struggling. Cowboys, Giants. Packers, Dolphins. And even I'll go one step further here. Black Friday, Raiders, Chiefs. I actually like this, though, from the NFL. I don't want good games on Thanksgiving because there's so much going on, right? There's so many distractions, whether it's a big gathering like I'm going to or whether it's a smaller gathering where it's immediate family, maybe a brother or sister, maybe a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, grandma, grandpa, even if it's like 6 or 7 people. There's always something going on during Thanksgiving, whether it's the prep for the food, whether it's actually cooking the food, whether it's cleaning up, whether it's setting the table, whether it's cleaning the table, cleaning the dishes, talking to grandma, updating your aunt and uncle about what you're doing in your life. If you're in college, talking about, how school is going so far in the first semester. Right? There's always something distracting to where you really can't lock in. If you're a big NFL fan, it's hard to kind of sit there for 3 hours, not distracted, and watch whatever game's on TV. So I'm glad that these games are some good, some bad, but you can kind of half watch and not miss anything. I'm excited. The game I'm most excited for, Lions-Bears. That's going to be, I think, the potential to be the best one. I think it has the most intrigue, being a division matchup with Caleb Williams playing. I think that's the one that most people will be the most excited for. That's also at the time when most people can watch. Early in the day, maybe you're prepping, maybe you're sitting here waiting for the turkey to bake. Maybe not everyone's over yet, so you can watch some more than you normally would. Dinner time, right? Usually 3, 4 o'clock. That's right in the middle of when Cowboys-Giants are. Woof. Snooze fest. That game stinks. Giants don't even know right now who their quarterback is. It looks to be Drew Lock, as Tommy DeVito is dealing with a forearm injury and he may not be able to play. That game stinks. But again, at that point during dinner time, there's so much going on, conversation, getting food, getting seconds, cleaning up, that you can't sit there and watch the full game. And then at night even, I mean, you're at that point, you're one eye's open, pants unbuttoned, laying on the couch. Maybe you're drunk as hell. Maybe you're just stuffed as hell. Either way, you're not locked in. The game's out of the background, but it's like lights on, no one's home. Maybe you're locked in for the first half. Then all of a sudden, 9:30, 10 o'clock comes and you're like, what happened? Who got the ball? You're nodding in and out. Packers, Dolphins would be cold. I think it's kind of a nice, kind of helps warm you up, and you're watching some people freeze their ass off in the frozen tundra. Dolphins won't show up. Game will be over about halftime, maybe early third quarter, and you can kind of fall asleep on the couch peacefully knowing you're not missing a good game. Then on Black Friday, everyone's shopping, busy, running out, free day. Maybe you're meeting your friends at the bar. Maybe you're meeting your friends at someone's house. I have a Friendsgiving that day, so I'll be out and about. But I'm glad that, again, Raiders-Chiefs, you can watch it, but it's not one of those banger matchups that should be a great game. Chiefs should win handily. I like that there's games on, have them on in the background, have an excuse to watch something. I like the fact, though, that some of the best games of the weekend, Bengals-Steelers, 49ers-Bills, Eagles-Ravens, on Sunday, we can kind of get back to normal and lock in. 855-212-4227. It is Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the JR SportBrief Show. Hugh is calling from Oregon. What up, Hugh?
Hey, KOC is a great coach. I mean, you look at what he's got into, after Zimmer and everything like that. And these people that keep saying that, hey, 1-point games and stuff like that. Kansas City is doing the same thing today, and yet they're on the top of the power rankings. KOC is great. Keep going, Vikings.
All right, Hugh, I appreciate that, man. That's some words of encouragement there. I was hoping for a little bit maybe more oomph on the keep it going, maybe a little bit more motivation here, but Hugh, I think, is spot on. Kevin O'Connell, again, winning close games. I don't think that's the mark of a bad team. I know the Vikings, right, when they were 2 years ago with Kirk Cousins and you had that insane game against, who was it, the Bills, right, where you had that insane catch by Justin Jefferson, and then the fumble by Josh Allen on the goal line recovered by the Vikings. They sneak it in. They win that game in which they had no business of winning, and everyone was saying, they win all these close one-score games. Some of it is unstable and unsustainable, but Kevin O'Connell's a good coach, and I like the point about the Chiefs. Good teams win those close games because close games are not about luck. Maybe sometimes, rare chance ball bounces your way, bad call goes your way, etc. But if you're in close games consistently and you win close games consistently, like the Chiefs do, like the Vikings do, that ain't luck. That's skill. That's great coaching. That's great execution. And that's why the Chiefs deserve credit, and that's also why Kevin O'Connell deserves credit as well. I agree with you, Hugh. All right, so this is going to wrap up the show. Again, Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on this Wednesday. A big thank you to you. I know it's kind of a time to show your gratefulness and be thankful, and I'm very thankful to you. You have so many options to listen to consume between sports and music, and so we do appreciate you joining us here and making us a part of your life, whether it's for 20 minutes, 2 hours, 24 hours. We're very appreciative of you choosing us here on the Infinity Sports Network, not just on the JR SportBrief Show, but across the entire network, 24/7, 365. So thank you so much for making us a part of your life. Hope your Thanksgiving is great. Your turkey is, well based and marinated. I'm not a turkey guy myself, so more for you. Enjoy it. But have fun. Have a great holiday. If you're traveling, travel safe. Be smart, especially tonight if you're going out tonight. Having some fun, meeting some friends, having some drinks. Just don't be stupid. If you're drinking, just get an Uber, please. The risk of you driving home drunk ain't worth the reward of saving a few bucks on the Uber. I can promise you that. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holiday. Big thank you as well to Nico Scarlatos, doing a great job producing tonight as well. I'll be back Sunday night. Ryan Hickey, Hick at Night, 10 p.m. Eastern to 2 a.m. Eastern, breaking down everything from Week 13 in the NFL. So please join there. You can follow me on social media, Ryan_Hickey and the number 3. Hick at Night podcast, Night spelled Nite. Don't go anywhere. David Shepard is up next. This has been Ryan Hickey in for JR right here on the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break.